Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to another episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar.
Welcome to the party.
And Simon.
What is going on?
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. And then we're going to give our opinions, go through the episodes one by one, and maybe see if we can get a better feel about how the guys...
Sounds good, bud.
You just alienated like everybody in those.
That's fuck.
It's good. I like it. I like that start, Matt.
Kamar, how's your week?
Usually, I have hilarious weeks to report, but not really anything. Just that I thought I would be not into football, but I love football. It's back in my heart. Like, it was never left. And I was just in the country, and the leaves are changing, and it's gorgeous. Something beautiful out there, so bring on the autumn. And a little nervous about the spikes we've been seeing this week. Don't know what's going to happen with that, but hope for the best.
We're going to get some big plastic panes of something so we can continue doing this. We'll tell you that.
Lock her down. Pretty ordinary week.
Simon, how's your week?
Well, luckily, Kamar didn't have a lot going on in his week because I had a lot going on in my week.
Simon saves the day.
Here comes a long-winded story about nothing.
I'll absorb some of his precious time. First of all, I've been thinking about Simon's Conspiracy Corner a little bit.
A name that's now grown on you.
I do like that, but I also don't hate Jewanon.
Didn't I come up with that last night?
Let that settle. You had something kind of like that, but I think I filled in the gaps for you. So basically what I decided this week was that I was going to make up my own kind of whatever title for what I feel my stance is on most things. You know what I mean? Somebody may be... instead of calling yourself like a
truther,
a conspiracy theorist or whatever, I don't like any of that shit. Okay. So and I don't love this, but I thought of it on the fly. All right. M.O.C.A. It's a
acronym.
An acronym. Thank you, Kamar. And it stands for Multi-Optional Conspiracy Advocate. Okay. So what that means is I'm not bound by any one view on any particular conspiracy or anything like that.
You can flip-flop in a second.
I flip-flop. I leave myself open to any possibilities. I guess what I'm saying is perfect.
Are you hijacking this already? How's your week?
This week I came up with an acronym.
Yeah, we're getting there. I think this is important, Matthew, because it'll enlighten you onto the way all our discussions go. You know what I mean? About me.
No, it won't. But go ahead.
It will. Let's take the moon landing, for example, okay? Because I've been giving this one a lot of thought. Kamar and I had a moon landing debate on episode You Never Told Me.
So it's the second one because the adverb, but debate is a very loose term.
Was very loose term. But my point was, you took the stance of we have never gone to space. I took the stance that we did go to space. Or to the moon, rather. I don't know if you believe we've never gone to space. But I believe a lot of things about that. I believe that, you know what, Kamar, maybe you're right. I also believe that we've been there. I also believe that maybe Kubrick fucking recorded it all. Like, I don't want to be pigeonholed by any... By any... I don't need to do that.
No, you don't.
I don't. So that's where I'm at. And just another example of that is like, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, so moving off that,
So it had nothing to do with how your week was.
yes, it did, because it really like gave me a new
You found your voice.
A new pile of shit to really hunker down in.
stance to
You found yourself.
be involved with. Anyways,
Oh, your wife must have
what
loved
my
that.
week was really like, I bought some jeans. I hadn't bought jeans in a while, and the same jeans I always buy, 514 Levi's, but these ones are like kind of stretchy, like Joe's. And I got to tell you, it's the best mistake I ever made. They're amazing, man.
You
Like
kick
they
in them.
look just like I can roundhouse in them. It's incredible.
So your week was really defined by a nice pair of jeans you got
That was the
that you
worst.
didn't want.
Okay.
Done. Ready.
No, nice work.
No,
New
thanks,
jeans.
man.
They look great.
You'd never know they were stretchy.
No, I mean, the fit is incredible, too. Really.
You had to have something happen this week.
No.
Right on. Pyre for the course.
Yeah. You know me. Just same old, same old. Are we going to get into it?
One of these weeks you'll define yourself, Maddie.
I doubt it.
I don't see why not. Following in what I think is the new format, 3 episodes a week, we had more back to innocuous guests, I think. I don't think that's the right word, but
Calendar word.
no trouble. We started
That
off
he
with
mispronounced.
1539, Jenny Kleeman, 1540, Frank von Hippel, and finished off with 1541, everyone's favorite drunk slut, Bridget Phetasy.
That is totally unnecessary.
Well, it's her own words. So she's reformed.
Everyone's favorite reformed drunk slut.
Nah, that doesn't
Doesn't
seem
quite,
to
doesn't
it.
yet.
Or self-proclaimed drunk slut.
Still loses the ring.
Okay.
All right. Well, do you want to rate the week?
I'd love to rate the week since that's what I'm here to do. I give it a 3 Jamie Vernon's.
I give it a 2.5 Jamie Vernon's.
Wow. Okay. I give it a 4.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow. Didn't see that coming.
All over the map.
You never do.
It was just, I thought we sort of got away from politics and stuff for a bit, and it just, I don't know if Joe's actually trying to avoid controversy now, considering he's going to get fired.
So,
Spotify.
so maybe just get it out of the way right off the jump. Joe, well, besides not talking about Brian Callen again, this time he didn't talk about his apology. Like, no mention of it. 3 podcasts. We know the time is right. Like, he didn't pre-record. I mean, maybe.
We have no idea.
We have no idea, actually.
No,
But
I know he didn't because the lighting and everything was on point, at least in the studio.
I'm going to assume that it was pretty recent. And, yeah, no mention of apologies or mistaken apologies. or
Weren't we
whatever.
talking to someone? Oh, yeah, actually, we had a fun hangout. Old Triple Bogey reunion. I forgot to mention that. But wasn't someone saying that he apologized and it turned out that what he said was right?
I said that.
Oh,
Yeah, that was me.
And was that correct?
Well, it
credible
is.
source.
It is correct. It turned out that what he was saying was not factual.
and if you looked at the news, the rumblings in Spotify are
Yeah, I see. They're not going anywhere. Trust me.
it's more than just like 3 people who are upset.
Doesn't matter. I think it's all just, I'm telling you, it's all advertising.
Well, that's what I thought at the end of the day. Any press is good press, so it's just bringing more people to it. But I forgot that Spotify is Swedish.
Yeah.
So it's not this Silicon Valley darling. So
No, yeah. I mean,
they're entitled.
either way, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think it's all advertising, and I think it's nothing more than that. Just a ploy at getting more eyes and ears on that podcast. And I think they're doing a bang up job. I think people that were never tuning in are tuning in just for controversy now, where there might not even be any. I will say this, though. I'll just bring it up now. In the Bridget Phetasy episode, they start talking about cuties. And Bridget Phetasy says they're talking about the director of it and how it's being interpreted and how people are feeling about it. And Joe says, well, doesn't Netflix as a company have some sort of don't they have to watch what they put on there and be very careful about the content they put up? And then they immediately switched the subject, but I could not believe that he took that stance, because I was like, you're currently in a battle with a company where some people want to censor you. I read the same article you did where they want to be able to.
They want
They
editorial
want program.
control.
Yeah, they want to be able to program basically his show, which is insane. That's obviously never going to fucking
Put
fly.
out trigger warnings.
I couldn't believe that he took that stance.
Sorry, can you repeat that for me, Matt? I don't think I understood exactly what you were saying.
He was saying that Netflix has to be, as a provider of this show, has to be careful about the content that they put out. And I thought that was a very dangerous statement, given the fact that Spotify is now in the same situation where people are. Why are you're squinting your eyes like it's a different
Being
thing?
careful about the content they put out.
I'm just thinking about they can't just go throwing any fucking documentary on there. You know what I mean? There could be stuff that doesn't reflect well on Netflix.
And
Sure, but
Spotify
it's
can't put out any podcasts.
But there you
on
go.
there.
So but that's what I'm saying is the argument right now is that Joe Rogan doesn't.
Oh no, Spotify has the right to do it. Just we thought with Joe that they signed an agreement that was like, you don't tell me what to fucking do.
Yeah, fine. The right to do it is like that's not the argument we're having. We know that these companies have the right to do whatever they want. That's fine. That's not what we're talking about though. I was saying that it's a dangerous game Joe's playing, saying like, well, Netflix should be really careful about what they put out when it's the same fucking. It's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm. I'm still annoyed by the. You've explained to me that if they put something on YouTube, it'll be taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they're watching clips, but I see tons of shows that show clips.
How big are they though?
Well, that being said, even if the YouTube gets taken down, so be it. He's still got his 100 million. He still has his Spotify. Like it won't be removed, just the YouTube. So you can still see it on Spotify. You can still hear it on Apple Podcasts. You understand? Just that YouTube will be taken down. I don't think it will. I think that just the money goes to someone else.
Well, that's Joe's problem. Yeah, Joe has always said that though. The money always goes to if he plays a 30-second Skinner clip, they get all the money from that episode. So if he has Elon Musk on and he does 37 million downloads and he plays a Skinner clip, they get all the money from that. Yeah.
Well, it goes to Leonard Skinner. I think you support that. But he just, I guess I have no money, so I don't understand it. But it'd be nice if he just said, fuck it. I mean, I got 100 million in the bank. I don't need this.
I'm still
4 months of YouTube money.
I'm still baffled by why he decided to do this in the first place.
Why he decided to go to Spotify?
Yeah. Again, you have all this. You have this thing laid out already. Did you need money for a studio? Was that it? We know that's not true. He's got tons of money. The whole move. Again, I'll say this again. Him talking about the move this week seemed very odd to me.
I think he wanted the fuck out of LA. I mean,
Yeah.
the move aside, the move to Spotify, I mean, I'll stand by I think in Joe's head, he was like, I got to get the fuck off of YouTube. I see what's going on here. This isn't going to be good. I'm going to go to Spotify where they're going to give me free reign. I got to assume that's what he was thinking.
And now he's like, that didn't happen.
And now he's like, well, what the fuck is going on here?
And he won't talk about it at all on the show.
Well, maybe he's waiting for it to, maybe he's in a lawsuit. Like just now that I'm thinking about it, maybe he's in like
He's not. It's a licensing deal. They have no control.
Battles with Spotify.
Again, it's a licensing deal. They have no control over what he programs. Nothing.
This is what I'm saying. So if they're now trying to decide what episodes get loaded on and
but this is what I'm telling you guys. Spotify has never once come out and said we're trying to. There are people within Spotify that would like that to happen.
There are rumblings, yeah.
Yeah. But trust me when I tell you it's not going to happen.
Okay, but some of his episodes still are not up?
I don't care about anything. That was the flavor of the week that week.
I don't care about anything.
But what I want to say, I was going to say in the post, Joe, but it might as well be said here. Right after the Lex Friedman, Lex flipped the script and did his
podcast.
And I recommend anyone who's a fan to listen to it. It's
like Joe did his podcast?
Yeah, but they did it just in the studio. And it's about an hour and 20 minutes, and it's refreshing after everything that's been going on. Joe's a little more relaxed, and I appreciated it just for what it's worth.
I feel though, I mean, you yourself are the one that stated that if someone starts interviewing Joe, it's terrible. So I'm just curious to know
if the context is Joe's the
guest, it's
initiator, as Joe's the guest. They talked a little bit too much about the Thai and jiu-jitsu in a little bit, but they just talked about they didn't talk about any things we wanted them to talk about, but it was refreshing after the whatever the clusterfuck of the last 2 weeks have been.
Did he sing or recite poetry?
No.
Well, that is
Oh, he saves that. He saves that for the big stage.
That is
Well,
refreshing.
no, he started off the podcast by playing the Joe Rogan song, so he did play
Oh, there you
something.
go.
And he loves Putin.
Interesting. Poutine or Putin?
Putin.
Okay.
Both.
Because I love poutine. Putin.
Moi aussi.
Sorry, Ivan. Can we start? It's 15 minutes in. We haven't even fucking begun. Jenny Kleeman.
Blame that all on Kamar.
This was almost a Matrix moment for me because Simon was talking about sex robots last week.
Was he?
Yeah, the whole thing with the Black Mirror episode, which somebody wrote in and said on Instagram that there was already an episode very much like that, which I do remember now. But mine was a little different because mine focused more on like a psychological battle between letting go of people. And
What episode are you talking about? The one where the wife, the husband dies and she gets
correct, and she downloads all his thoughts into a computer.
and then they bring him over.
But I don't believe that she fucks him with a giant robot cock or anything.
Are you saying she puts on a robot cock and
No,
fucks?
I'm saying I don't remember
He's
there
saying the
being
episode can
any
still be made.
sex there. I think I'm still breaking new ground with my whole, like, it's the love part of it. And
Go to
the-
Pornhub.
the
There's a
release
continuation on
and
Pornhub, I guarantee.
Okay.
That's what I say about you know all these dating island shows and stuff,
Sure.
and people hook up but they never show it.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone should do one on Pornhub. And then you can show the hookups. I think there's a market for that.
Kamar, you are fucking brilliant.
Oh, go on.
No, I'm telling you. That's exactly what those shows are missing.
The
The
raw
funny-
content.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, if you're going to show us everything, show us everything.
because they'll show
We want to see the shitting, the pissing, the puking, the fucking...
That's what you want to see.
Enter porn.
No,
Pornhub.
I'm fucking with this guy,
Oh,
man.
you blew up my spot.
Can we start the episode?
Jenny Kleeman. We started into it. We're just sort of
Well, what's her number?
meandering.
I just wanted her number. I said her name. I didn't get the number.
1539 is what I said last time. I
Okay,
think.
sorry, my bad. Jenny Kleeman, 1539.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Jenny Kleeman, 1539.
Is that the number?
Yeah,
Sam?
that's correct.
Okay.
Jenny.
Still is
Jenny.
remote.
Jenny Kleeman. Sex robots and vegan meats. Oh, no, sex robots. Yeah, and vegan meats. That's her book
Author
title,
of, yeah.
which she claims that she had no part in coming up with.
Much more bland.
Yeah, it was like, I don't even remember.
It was something very English, very proper.
It
Like,
wasn't good. She definitely should have gone with the title she went
the
with.
future is wrought with aliens and who knows what else.
So
By
that's
Jenny
the strike
Kleeman.
against her that she was selling a book. I always hate when they sell the book in the first 5 minutes, but
I will say this in her defense. She did the total opposite of sexy voice there. And she was just open to like,
Yeah.
it seemed like she spoke about the entirety of the book.
Yeah.
absolutely.
It always
So-
displeases me when they say, give you the fucking hook, line, and sinker and then tell
you have to read
the
the book.
last
Yeah,
4
yeah.
pages.
No, yeah, she was very open about talking about her whole.
I will burn this whole studio to the ground. You know? That's what I'm feeling.
So what's in your notes? Let's start this
right,
bad boy.
yeah,
That's
sorry.
on you. Where do you want to start with Miss Kleeman?
Let's start with...
I thought this was
Sex robots is until the end of the episode.
I thought it was a tale of 2 episodes though, because the beginning was the talking about robots and what will happen if we can fuck robots and will they mistreated, and I'm sure that is what's going to happen, and will relationships crumble because we don't need each other. And then when they got into the vegan side of it, it got very confusing. I wasn't sure what I was listening to.
Well, Joe was so defensive.
But she eats meat.
I know, and that's the weirdest part.
was
I was
weird.
like,
It was
I
just
was like,
weird.
Joe, calm down. Her point was like, Joe, I eat meat. I'm just saying people should eat less. And he was like, no.
I disagree.
I couldn't believe. I thought for a second, I was like, Jordan Peterson's not going to come up here. And I was like, this is going to be a sham. This is going to be a total sham.
Do you want to talk about the meat now?
Well, it just came up, so.
The meat of the podcast.
No, we can start by the robot, Simon. That's fine. Go back. Go ahead. Start.
Because I got stuff on the
Yeah,
meat.
go ahead.
That's all I'm saying.
I bet you do.
I do, yeah. But just speaking of Jordan Peterson, that his meat thing is not why he's sick now. He had a benzodiazepine addiction.
Yeah, but if you go
And
back
he had
and
to
track
go
his
and he
whole
got,
daughter,
like,
yeah, well, trust me.
It worked for his daughter like really well. I'm just saying, I don't think like if you want to correlate Jordan Peterson and like the drug addiction, I'm cool with
I'm
that.
not saying the
you know?
carnivore diet is directly what put him in, but I'm telling you, there's correlations there. Go look. Go look into it.
All right. I mean, I don't really care, so I'm not going to look into it, but I'll believe you. I have no reason to doubt you, I guess.
See, and there it is.
Doubt everyone all the time. DTA,
M.O.C.A.
right? No, I mean, yes, M.O.C.A. Thank you. Come on. I started, they were talking about cell phones and, cell phone being the gateway drug, let's call it, to,
Sure.
I mean, to what we don't even know yet, but we have some idea now because Elon's come out and told us, I'm putting fucking microchips in all you swine. So that really will be the threshold though, so the cell phone, which we've all, and I include myself in this, I'm preaching from the fucking trenches, we're so addicted to it and it's become such a part of our lives that we haven't even known it. But again, back to what he said, which we thought was so eloquent when he was on Joe Rogan, that we are help me out here, the cyborg already, right? Or I don't think he called it a cyborg. I think he called it a hybrid, whatever, we're already,
It just has to be attached
it's just
permanently.
not
and that's all.
inside us, right? But the threshold really will be, like, we haven't had to make a decision yet. Buy a cell phone, don't buy a cell phone. I mean, you won't be connected, but we've seen Ari Shafir. He can get away with it. But the inserting the fucking shit into you, that's like where you got to put up or shut up,
I think it comes down to sort of correlating with the singularity.
So you're thinking it's going to take all the way to like 2040 or something.
Well, I mean, I remember early Joe's singularity was a real buzzword and talking about it when there's the connection and then it's just a blast off of, I mean, there's no turning back after that. So, yeah. Scary times or exciting times.
In my head, though, I see it as there are going to be people, right? The adopters who just want it right away.
The people who are
And
chipped right now.
There are going to be the fighters, the people who don't want it at all. And then there's going to be that middle ground, which there always is, of people who just don't know what direction they're going to go in.
I think people find themselves in those positions because of affordability in the beginning.
I mean, you're probably right. And again, it's going to save, hopefully, Elon's not lying, and it's going to save a lot of people off the jump. Again, making it so much easier for us to be like, oh yeah, this totally makes, you see what I'm saying? If you were laying the groundwork for, I don't know, total mind control, you would start it with like,
Yeah, but see,
first
again, you're
I'm going to
doing
make you better, and then I'm going to make you stronger, and then
See, you're doing your whole fucking CIA, M.O.C.A, everything's a conspiracy thing. Like, we learned from the next episode that almost everything is started off with great intentions.
Well, that's what. There's
And
good
then
intentions,
is then co-opted by
What-
something after the fact. It's rarely that some fucking evil genius is sitting up in his tower thinking about mind control or...
What is the unintended consequences? That's what you've got to be
okay,
forecasting.
sure.
But this is my
So
thing
let's
is
take the
everything...
nefariousness out of it and just the unattended consequences.
Yeah, but hold on. Everything there's nothing in life that is good that doesn't have unintended consequences.
It's guaranteed there will be something. Just what?
Yes, there's-
what is that?
Of course. And does it outweigh the pros is the question.
We're constantly rolling the dice, and we have to decide, what juice is worth the squeeze and so on. And I don't know, man. I think that's really going to be like a fucking harsh divide between people.
I mean,
of this.
it's like they were saying in this podcast. Would it be a good thing to make a child sex doll for a pedophile? So maybe that they would quench their desires or whatever the fuck is wrong with them instead of having to do it in the real world, or does it just make him, I need the real thing?
Yeah, but we know from like serial killers that it just worsens the problem.
Yeah, so
Hey, Kamar, let me ask you then. Do you think that they should give child sex dolls to pedophiles to try and quench their get it out before they have to get it out?
I don't think anyone should give them anything. I mean, they would acquire it. You know what I mean? Search around. Hey,
Sorry, I'm not insinuating that the government
look up
should
all the
donate
sex
to-
offenders and give them a doll.
But should that be like a thing, a part of the sex doll industry?
If we want them to somehow be a part of society, maybe. I mean, otherwise kill them all or castrate them. I don't know. I don't like sex offenders or pedophiles, so I don't really want to.
It's a popular opinion.
Make sure they're happy, but I mean, how are we going to let some people use these and some people not use these? And
It's not that we're letting some people. You're always allowed to have a sex doll. You just can't have one that looks like a kid.
when that's the issue, the company would have to make this.
And couldn't you just look? Again, I'm with Kamar, right? I don't at all think that or I don't know what he said. I don't think there should be sex dolls that are kids. But if you were like an industrious pedophile, couldn't you just like modify that dummy?
But let me ask you
Chop
too. Then
the arms,
what if,
chop the
but what if
legs.
you're into midgets?
That's an issue, eh? I'm sure they make midget sex dolls because
And
they
and
can't.
herein lies the problem with your industrious.
Yeah, well, no.
But what are we doing
the
here?
problem
Are we
is
now
that
going
they
to?
already have sex dolls that are children. They're just calling them something else.
I thought it was very interesting when she was talking about, she's like, sex dolls are only bought by men. She's like, women want nothing to do with this.
That's not true, though. Sorry, go ahead.
Because women want their sex partner to be able to complain to.
Well, they just want someone like when she was like, I see it being more that women would get like a her but a him type deal, like a companion that would like talk to them and shit,
Exactly.
versus like a dude with a big dick that walks around and like cooks and cleans and stuff. That was her point, was that women have trouble sleeping with someone that they're not connected with.
Emotional connection.
And
And I'm sure we've all encountered that in our.
That's why they like vibrators, is because it does the job. They can use their imagination, but it's not. Because that's the argument, right? Is like girls buy vibrators, so why wouldn't they buy sex dolls? Everybody wants to get off.
I think it's totally different, but
It's a weird thing if it's a companion to if it's just for
Sorry,
physical
I
release.
thought we were just talking about sex dolls, like because there are no such thing as like sex robots yet.
Wow, they're coming down the pipe, obviously.
even then it made it like she said something weird after this or during this whole conversation where she was like, do we all just want slaves? Is that what we're looking for? And I thought to myself, like, well, maybe we do. And is there something like, because then that's the same.
Well, you hire a cleaning lady. Like,
Well, yeah, but you pay them.
well, you pay for the the cleaning doll. The cleaning robot. The sex robot.
Hold on. Well, I was going to take it a step further and be like, it's once we want to try to put consciousness, or because think about it, we have robots that are slaves. Like, what is a factory full of? It's just full of mindless robots that we haven't put faces on, that just do the same thing over and over again until they're discontinued, and that's it. And we have no problem. We have no problem with that. Zero. Right? Like we all, like Kamar's shaking his head, and I don't have a problem with it at all. I don't look at it like, how could we mistreat this thing? The problem is once we want to put consciousness in something, we then have this weird dilemma of like, and I just don't understand why we like, I don't know. Imagine if like, would you want to have a conversation with your Roomba? Like a deep conversation with your Roomba?
No.
It's getting there. I mean, Siri is just the brink, right? You can sort of talk to your phone, but it doesn't talk back. But if you swear, it says, I don't think she used that word. What I was going to ask, do you prefer to, if you go to McDonald's, do you prefer to order from this thing or the person?
The person always.
I also go to the person because that thing is covered in feces. I don't know if you've read any articles about it, but it's fucking disgusting.
I prefer that thing.
Can I go back to your previous statement for a second, which
Sure.
was
Slaves.
the factories?
Yeah.
Maybe if they made, like right now, what you're talking about doesn't look like a human.
That's what I'm saying.
It looks like a robot. You wouldn't even recognize it.
No, but it's not even a
right?
robot. Like,
it's not a robot.
When we say robots,
it's
robots look like us and can like, interact with the world like us. We don't think of robots as like the ones in the factories. That's a robot though, right?
I understand, but that's not really the conversation we're having, right? Like we're talking about robots that look like humans.
I get it. I mean, listen, maybe 100 years from now, Siri is an actual person that you buy in a box. And her name is Siri. And she...
Oh, 100 years from now, I can
She
imagine not
is your
possible.
phone.
That's what I'm saying. And you can ask her. She'll look stuff up. She'll tell you the weather. She'll carry your bags for you while you shop.
Will she notice you're down and ask you what's going on?
Or will you even need
I mean, who the
that?
fuck
Because
knows?
you'll have a chip in your head and you'll just be able to virtually have a Siri, you know? Like,
Yeah,
you won't need
I don't
these
know.
physical fucking boxes.
But I mean, that's, these are the weird questions. Like, I read a crazy article when I was living in Vancouver in the Metro. Is that still a thing, the Metro? The thing they give out at the fucking...
Nope.
Anyway, it was that, like, shitty, like, 4-page paper that they would give out
Free.
when you got on the bus. And there was an article in it that was written from the perspective of, like, 2056. And it was this sex robot had been raped and was, like, claiming that... And I was sitting there thinking, like, I was like, what kind of weird dystopian future is this where a sex robot could claim it was rape? But, I mean, I guess that's kind of where we're going with these questions.
And what kind of D-bag are you that the sex robot won't consent? That's heavy. Back to what you said, I think we could make child sex dolls for pedophiles, but they have to look like Chucky. And there's the compromise.
That's your qualification.
They can't look like a cute little kid. They gotta look like a little devil child.
Something that's gonna cut your dick off.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got it.
So it's you do.
Oh, maybe
it.
that's the catch. Is the company makes this sex robot that looks like a kid, but you put your dick in it, and it's like a Chinese finger trap.
Gotcha.
That's it. And then you're stuck walking around with this fucking. So now we know all the pedophiles.
Wow, that'll get around fast.
it's like when you pee in the pool and it goes.
That's it.
blue.
Precisely.
But has that ever happened? That's just a urban myth.
Well, it does the job.
Kamar's like,
Pee in the
I
pool
pissed in
and-
every pool I've ever been in. I've never seen.
I've never seen a pool I didn't piss in. It's never gone blue.
That's hilarious. Just backtracking one more second. When I was talking about the implanting being the real divide, one of the reasons I think that is because now, let's say, take something like religion, okay? Let's pretend Kamar is a religious Catholic and I'm an atheist or whatever, undecided. It doesn't matter. So he's like, I'm going to do all of this and I'm going to heaven and that's my reward. You know, I'm better than you because I'm going to heaven. And I can either think to myself, well, he's better than me because he's going to heaven, or more likely, I don't believe in what he's saying, so we're both going nowhere, or whatever the case may be. Once you have that chip in your head and you're physically better than the next person, it's like, it's no longer a hypothetical ticket to heaven, let's say. It's tangible. This guy can run faster than me. He can think better than me. He's smart. You know what I'm saying?
If all those things are true.
Okay, right. If all those things are true.
It may just be access to information.
Even if that's the case, it's still going to...
But it's the person using it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, but...
Even then, though, she was saying, like, it might not even matter with the chips, because CRISPR might just take away all the fucking... You might be able to super engineer... You might be able to take 1 million eggs and super engineer one baby to just be the fucking...
Well, that was the biggest fear, that we don't need eggs or sperm anymore.
That was the weirdest part. We'll get to that. Please, let's keep that. But I just want to get back to this the robot shit for a second. Please keep that in mind, though, Kamar. Someone write that down. I don't know. Like, Simon, my whole thing with you saying, like, there's going to be a great divide is I have to disagree, only because it'll be like any other technology where some people will be early adopters and it'll slowly come along and only certain people will be able to afford it anyway. And then eventually people our age will just be like, nope, never doing it. That's it. And then young people will adopt it. And then eventually almost every young person will have it, like everything in the world. And it'll just be the status quo, the standard, listen, there were people that were like, I will never use a cell phone. You'll never see me with a cell phone. I'll never have a cell phone. Now, you know, the world operates with everyone has a cell phone. It's just as simple as that. You go to a third world country, you'll see a 6-year-old with a fucking cell phone playing Candy Crush.
I saw a weird fact that more people have cell phones than toilets on the planet.
That is absolutely fucked.
Yeah. So by that example, what you're saying is spot on. It will just...
Sorry, go ahead.
The timeline is debatable, but it's inevitable.
But actually, by what you said, my thing is also wrong, because you'd think toilets would have spread to every household as well, being a technology that...
And if one day we all decide, fuck this nonsense, we're all throwing our phones in the toilet, we couldn't do that.
No.
We'd
You
have
don't have
too
that
many
option.
phones.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about what you were saying, Matt, but
My apologies.
no, it wasn't your fault. I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's weird because she was talking about consciousness, and I still was sitting there like, we don't know jack shit about it. Why is this like how can we talk about putting consciousness in a machine when we just know fucking so little about it?
I think
Because Elon says so. Sorry.
there's an equation that someone's plugging in that we eventually will figure out enough. I don't believe we will. But
I mean, I think we're living in a simulation, and that's the big block that you can't figure it out because it would, you know what I mean? It's like a fail safe within. Well, every program has a fail safe, and that would be it.
Maybe.
You can't figure out what consciousness is because
I was talking to Matt yesterday, and because I was looking, we've been having some crazy moons lately. I don't know if you've noticed, but I was looking at the moon the other day, and it's just floating there in the sky.
allegedly.
Whatever. Yes, absolutely. Allegedly. And
M.O.C.A.
And I start thinking to myself, like, okay, that is insane, right? This giant orb is up there floating. And then I'm looking at it. And then I started thinking, if I was on the moon and I was looking down at Earth, it is also a giant orb that's just floating. The difference is we have skyscrapers and they only have like a small village, let's say. My point is, it's so crazy, right? And then you throw in the spinning and the this and the that and everything, and you're just like, of course we live in a simulation. Sorry, that was a really long way to get us to a simulation.
Yeah, it's case closed.
When you start, I'm not being an asshole here. When you start thinking about like us too much, you have no choice but to be like, I don't know, man. That it just leads there. I feel like it leads there. If you think too much about it, what's the easiest answer is the right answer?
Occam's razor.
Eric could be a Rakeem's razor, actually.
Eric B. and Rakeem's razor would definitely be.
Is that the right one? The Occam's razor? No, it's
Yeah. It is.
The
Murphy's
most
laws,
obvious
what
explanation.
can't go wrong.
The
Will.
easiest.
The
the
obvious,
easiest
most obvious explanation is the truth.
So,
Fuck, we're falling apart here, boys.
something like that.
Let me
Come
just
on.
go on record as saying there isn't 1 year of university spread amongst us.
No, I do. I have
Oh,
two.
do you? Okay.
2 years of college.
2
Community
years of
college.
university.
Okay, community college is not university.
No. What I was gonna say is like it's all hypothetical until it's not. You know, until your daughter wants to go get a chip implanted
Could you see yourself
in her neck down at the fucking local COVID center or whatever, and you have to put up or shut up. You know, I think that we're all, regardless of whether you have children or if it's you or whatever, we're all gonna have these like decisions to make.
But see, I think you look at it like these weird decisions to make. Like the cell phone was not a decision that was.
You're saying they're going to be made for us.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't think the decisions are made the way or that they're made for us. I think things just happen organically, or maybe sometimes not so. And it's something that happens over time. I mean, again, the TV was something that was like moving pictures, never in my home. And now it's just, everyone has two TVs. And
No, I agree. For many of the sheeple out there, it's like a normal, they don't notice, it's just going to happen. But I think if you have your eyes open and you're like watching what's going on.
Simon has his
You're
eyes
going
open
to have a
as he
decision
tweets on
to
his
make.
iPhone.
I don't tweet, but
Whatever,
I
fuck.
do. I said it. I
know.
as guilty as the next
I'm
person
not-
with this stupid iPhone. There was nothing that I would really like to get rid of it, but I don't want to get rid of it, you know?
Sounds like a true drug addict.
Do you
Right.
think this could get rid of? Do
Yes, exactly.
you think this could get rid of lying? Because that's something that Joe always sort of.
What's going to get rid of lying? That chip that Elon's going to put in
Or
us?
whatever higher level of consciousness that we don't understand we get to that if we know each other's thoughts. You saw the movie The Invention of Lying, right?
Yeah.
It's not that good, but an interesting premise.
With Ricky Gervais, obviously.
I think lying should be eliminated.
Yeah, but I mean, you had this conversation. Like I've had this conversation a bunch of times with a bunch of people, and like, there's just certain lies that we need that are good.
Like you look good in those pants
Precisely.
or what not. Yeah.
Thanks for the socks. Like there's certain things that make life a lot easier, and they're little white lies. And I get it. The argument is like, yeah, but a whole bunch of little white lies, it just gets easier to lie about big stuff. It's like stealing, We all know people that were fucking crazy thieves in high school, but eventually they got caught and then they stopped. Some people didn't get caught and moved on to cars or homes or whatever the fuck.
Here's my problem with what both you and Joe are saying, Kamar, is that lying is free will. That's a choice that we get because we're a very special creature that gets to decide these things, And the idea of taking that away is, aren't you just, at that point, if we're all just connected so much that you can tell exactly what I'm thinking all the time, then aren't we just like, isn't that just being part of the matrix anyways,
I didn't take it that way, though. I didn't take it as Elon saying you could just read someone's mind. I just took it as him saying you could just fire messages off.
Oh, no. That's what Joe, that wasn't what Elon was saying, I don't think. But that's
Joe
Joe's
prophesizes.
his contention is that one day lying will not be a thing. And I think that that's the day that humans no longer exist, because that's free will is what defines us as human beings.
And humor would no longer
It's why, even if there is, this is my theory anyways, if there is, which I believe, there's something up there in the universe that has a hand in what's going on, the one thing that makes humans so, the reason things can't just be given to you is because you have free will. Like, if there is somebody up there guiding anything, that's all they can do is guide, because in the end, human beings decide one way or another.
But Sam Harris disagrees and says there is no free
just
will.
going to say
That's Sam Harris. Absolutely.
Well, it's not so much.
But
But
Sam
again, if you
can't
read into it,
believe in God or any
but-
sort of higher power. Sorry, go ahead.
well, no. What I was going to say is it's not so much. If you read into it, it's not that he doesn't fully, but like he believes that you have some will, but that it's preordained in the sense that like I agree with this. Like when you're a kid, you're so malleable. You have no choice you don't have a choice in anything you do as a kid. You're just stuck with the situation that you're stuck in and the people that are around you, and they are going to mold you into whoever you end up being. And he's kind of saying that like those formative years, those first 15 years, whatever happens to you is going to dictate how you maneuver through the world, and that therefore some of the will that you thought you had is just not there because you didn't have a choice in the first 15 years of your life. And that if you were surrounded by shitbags who, for example, let's say you were surrounded by lying pieces of shit for your whole life, you could argue that for one, it would be tough to get out of that. Maybe not. Maybe there are some people that grow up with alcoholics and are like, I'm never, ever.
So isn't he just cleverly explaining away some sort of higher power? Like, as you're talking there, that's all I'm hearing. You know what I mean? Is, yeah, there are things that we don't control, but if something is controlling it, it's...
Well, no, it's not a higher power. He's just saying you're born. Certain people are born in certain circumstances. That's not a higher power. You're just born where you're born.
If you have no free will,
Mm-hmm.
then something is guiding it, right? Something is making things happen.
Yeah, but that's
if
a weird...
you're not deciding, then the universe is deciding. And
So are you saying
you don't
that
have to equate the universe to God, but something is going on. Whether
But then what was the Big Bang?
We don't know.
we don't know.
Well, okay, but fine. But you see what I'm saying is that there was no universe then. So what was deciding that? Like, this is what I'm saying is it's
Well,
a weird
there was
argument.
no man at
You're
that
trying to say that there's a God without saying there's a God is also what you're doing.
I'm just saying the argument is the same. I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm telling you that what Sam Harris is doing is just having the same argument, but calling it something else.
M.O.C.A.
It's the same argument. I don't care either way.
I don't either.
Free will, no free will. I have my opinions, but
Yeah.
like M.O.C.A, absolutely. But to me, the argument is the same.
Okay.
Anyways. Anywho, how about rights for the robots? Like, when does that all come into play? And I'm not being facetious here. Like, if we get to a point where, at what point?
Well, that
Who
was interesting because we were
decides?
talking about what is a right.
Don't kick the robot, you know? Like,
Why not kick the robot?
well, that was PETA's whole thing, is don't kick the robots.
Even though the robot won't feel it.
They're
doesn't
people.
bother, just disrespect it.
Like animals. But more, don't kick the robot, Kamar, because if it's a robot and it's recording everything that you do and you're constantly kicking it, and one day it gets the ability to like fuck you up, it's definitely going to do it.
No, we can't give the right to the robots.
No, you don't think so?
You've got to keep them as slaves.
Wow, Kamar, you don't even want to live peacefully with the robots.
Well, first of all, again,
no
what are
wonder
we
they're
talking
going to
about,
want to
though?
wipe us off the fucking planet with guys like you.
I truly, first of all, in our lifetime, we'll absolutely never see this with any sort of fucking life advancements. I don't care if we live to 150. We'll never see what we're talking about ever. Again, I said
You know
it.
what Kamar and I's answer is to that.
Yeah, and
X
it's horseshit.
Factor. But I mean, combine the robots in Amazon with your Roomba, like Boston Dynamics. I think it's closer than you think. Maybe 50 years, not.
No, but what I'm saying is, I'm talking. Listen, Kamar, we might create a robot that can fucking dance the Charleston perfectly and recite every JFK speech to a T. But what I'm saying is, it will not have the consciousness where we'll have to worry about like, well, don't kick the robot because one day that.
No, I agree with you there.
That's what I'm saying is we will. I agree. There will probably be some advanced robots in our lifetime that will blow our fucking minds. That's actually a probability for sure.
The way it works,
I'm
and
talking
again,
moistly.
you're looking at it very logically, and I appreciate that, Matthew. You are, things take time, and they have to go in a certain order, and yeah, I see you're within your lanes there. But some guy has a crazy discovery one day, a lot of the times things get discovered by accident, right? They're trying to find something else, and something happens.
I understand.
A superhero is formed, or whatever,
Lava lamp guy trying to find the cure for cancer.
Sure. There
Is
you
that
go.
what happened?
I mean, that's not a great example, but it should be the other way around. Guy inventing lava lamp finds the cure to cancer. Anyways, my point is, I don't even remember what my point is anymore. What was I talking about?
We were talking about robots advancing,
Rights, the
consciousness
rights
and
of
the
robots.
rights and them, how quickly
you
it moves
being
on.
very
Yes.
human.
You were complimenting
You were being
me.
very human about it.
Yes.
I was complimenting you, yes, in a way. Complimenting your humanity, your humanness. So basically what I'm telling you is, some guy has an invention in his basement. He figures something out. The way that electronics work, as far as I know, is very much like mushrooms in the way they can communicate. It doesn't take long. It just takes one enlightened robot, let's call it, one enlightened program, and the whole system is enlightened. It's like, who's our man there, Kamar? The morphic resonance guy. Oof. It's like morphic resonance
Redfield?
for androids. No, it's
We just did the
we just
fucking
did
guy.
him, yeah.
Rupert Sheldrake.
Thank you, Matthew. Dr. Flatthew Discman comes through
On the
in clutch.
Patreon, join now. Fucking donate.
Hold on, it's not a donation.
Yeah.
You get something for it.
Or you just want to donate. It's either or.
Okay, well, if you join at the... Oh, right, whatever.
Just if you're interested in getting more useless banter, then that's where you would head.
I was just going to slip that in and keep the conversation going. Like we said, the most scariest part is that we will no longer need to fuck to make babies. And that generation, I sort of thought, you guys remember Son of Man, Man of Son, the Clive Owen, the last person on Earth.
Children of Men.
Children of Men, there we go. There. And the last person is 18 years old. But all those people made totally different, they're almost aliens.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different experience from the get-go.
Do you so let's just say we talk a lot about the aliens coming, speaking of aliens, and Operation Bluebeam, and this idea that maybe the government could use an alien invasion to get people to want to fight together, be led together, whatever. I mean, couldn't the same be said, and probably even much easier, by some sort of like robot invasion?
But it's like a red flag,
A false flag.
a false flag.
Yeah, exactly. And they just use it as a way to scare people into...
Like Joe always says, he thought this pandemic could bring us all together, and we're now more divided. I was thinking about when you're talking about the technological people to the anti, like, as that's a divider, religion divider, political divider. It's not a good thing as another divider.
Well, I wonder if, like, you know how the Catholic Church is now coming to grips with the idea of extraterrestrials and how that fits into their whole, you know.
Well, it's easy for them
how
with God
they
because
live.
God can
Well,
do anything.
yeah, I mean, right. It's easy, exactly. But, I mean, couldn't the same thing be said for the androids?
Still, the androids, there's God is not responsible for them. It'd be
Well, God,
IBM.
God is
Let these
responsible
robots get out of
for
control.
us, and we are responsible for the robots.
I guess in this situation, it'd be Amazon would probably be the culprit that made the robots that tried to kill us. But that'd be exciting. If
I
there was
just,
a
I
robot
guess,
war.
it wouldn't
Has
be,
neither of us smoked a joint yet?
I have.
Oh.
It wouldn't be hard for them to, you know, if we had to
Them, you lost me.
the
There.
Catholic Church
Okay,
to wrap their story around
anything
robot oppressors.
because they want to stay relevant
Always.
always and forever.
They seem to, again, this isn't about people who believe in God. It's not. It's about like the actual Catholic Church. They seem very much like in the vampire movies, there's always the character or the guy in the Matrix who wants to eat the steak. They'll like hang around with the fucking vampires in order to stay relevant.
Sure.
Yeah, that to me like is the Catholic Church.
You got to imagine the Catholic Church has a bunch of these sex robots on back order. Try to clean
Of the
them
child-
out.
of the child
ones.
variety.
Obviously,
a bunch of
that's-
Chuckies, 500 Chuckies.
That's why they're being made.
But please, not of the variety of Chinese finger trap.
no, they want to keep it going.
They want the real ones, the real robots.
Yeah.
Well, and the real children. I mean, it's gross.
I think we'll probably have to switch over to the second half. And right before that, there's a movie that Joe always references.
Ex Machina.
Have you guys seen it,
Yeah. I watched it on a plane.
Simon?
Ex Machina. Yeah, I've seen it.
And it's been said so many times.
It's my boy, Alex Garland,
He is the
wrote the screenplay.
Well, it's the movie game today because Joe has said it ad nauseum, and we might as well find out. It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to figure out the year a movie came out, the budget, and the box office gross.
They fucking lost my pen. I don't know how this is possible.
This was a great movie, and it's interesting too because usually we do blockbusters.
I'm certain we have done this before.
Well, if that's the case and you're so sure, why don't you switch it up and we'll do her?
No,
Perfect. I love the audible. It's the movie game.
I wrote down Ex Machina.
I really think you're right because he has said it so many times. I don't know why I wouldn't have done it. And we're changed to her on the spot because it's still in the same realm. It came up in conversation,
Did this win Best Picture?
so it's
And
relevant.
It's the one I've done research on. I mean,
Anyone? Did this win a Best Picture?
Scratch the
no,
Ex
I
Machina.
don't believe so.
Simon called the audible with an asterisk because maybe he knows something we don't know he knows.
I don't. I promise. That's
Directed by Spike Jones, starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh well, I didn't know that.
Amy
You didn't? That's what I was
Adams,
asking. Yeah,
Rooney
shout out
Mara,
to fucking Spike. man.
Olivia
The
Wilde,
best.
and Scarlett Johansson, who plays her.
Did it win an award, Kamar? I didn't even know Spike Jones directed it.
That's what I'm saying. I think it won either Best Director, Best Cinematographer. Did it win Best Picture? That was my question.
Oh, that's what I meant to talk about. My week was I watched the Emmys.
No one gives a shit about the Emmys. Kamar,
What's
did
it
it win
called?
awards?
Cleaned Up though. Fuck that Canadian show. It's funny. I love it. Schitt's Creek.
5 nominations, including Best Picture, and won the award for Best Original Screenplay for Jones.
but
Also won
there he
awards for
won.
his screenplay at the 71st Golden Globes Awards, the 66th Writers Guild of America Awards, the 19th Critics' Choice Awards, and the 40th Saturn Awards.
Simon, I have a year written down.
You do? Okay. Hold on a second.
Her
You still
was
don't have a
voted
year written
the
down.
84th greatest film.
Okay, I'm
Of
ready.
all time?
I can't say since when. It has a specific date, so that'll
You
give you
ready?
guys too many clues.
Yeah, I have a year.
I said 2015.
I have 16.
Sorry, boys. 2013.
Whoa, way back. Wow. Way back in the time machine.
It's 126 minutes. Distributed by Warner Brothers and Sony Pictures. And I think this is more the constructive technology rather than the sex. But I guess some people just can't get sex. But I think everyone needs a buddy. Like if it almost could be a therapist. You know what I mean? And obviously in the movie, he finds out that she's talking to everybody on the planet. And it really throws him for the loop. So can you fall in love with a robot? Is the next question. And I don't think so. I think you could be in lust with your robot.
No, I think you could fall in love with your robot. I think some people are so desperate for love that it doesn't take much. You know what I mean? If it's real enough.
I also think if you spent enough time, think about it. If they had enough information on you from just like Pornhub and dating apps and Facebook. No, I'm dead fucking serious. They could probably create like someone close to what you'd want.
But a friend, you don't necessarily want a 100% yes man.
No, but
that's a friend or a companion.
But Kamar, maybe you do, and that's what I'm saying is I think a machine would be able to figure out better. Like you actually want a yes man. You don't know it, but you want. You know what I mean? Or you don't want. You want a chick that's fucking just the biggest cunt on earth who's constantly up your ass. Or you want someone who's just a shut up and fucking do the dishes type of chick. Maybe like I don't know. I'm saying is I think a computer would be able to figure out what you want better than you and then provide that.
Of course it does. It's what they're already doing to get you to buy shit.
Yeah, I know.
With the ads.
Yeah, but they're failing there. I think in the future, like 50 years, 100 years.
Why do you think they're failing?
Well, because I don't, like, first of all, you get ads delivered to you, right?
Okay, but I think they're winning for the majority of the people.
That's how you feel. Fair
But if you had this companion machine, not necessarily that you fuck, maybe that'd make you a better person that you could get a physical mate.
That's definitely possible.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh, that reminds me. I wrote I have an idea written down on my phone. I'll show it to you after. I wrote just an idea for a sci-fi futuristic screenplay. So it's exactly what we're talking about. It's you input into a computer like your ideal woman, and then it provides like said sex robot, whatever woman companion for you. But it does it in a way where almost like True Romance. So instead of you ordering it and it just shows up in a box and you plug it in, it sends it out into the world and you like meet this chick organically.
Yeah,
hold on, wait.
You find that out.
No, but hold on. But the story is you order this thing online and then you're out in the world and you actually meet a girl, finally, a real girl. And you end up with her and you date her and you bang her and you fall in love with her. But then at the end, you're like, this isn't real. I need something real. And you leave her because you think that she's a fucking robot.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's a great twist because you thought it was the thing you ordered.
That's what I'm saying,
That
yeah.
thing is still in
and then
circulation.
you murder
coming.
her because you think it's just a robot and you've really murdered.
And you're like, what are these
perfect
guts? Where's the
woman. Yeah,
circuits?
it has
Oh,
a
they
heart.
really got a good.
Oh my god, that's such a great
dystopian
ending.
horror.
You go to
Love
pull
it,
out
love
its
it.
wires to
Okay, well,
terminate
you guys
it.
took a real
You
fucking-
kill it.
No.
And it's pregnant. Oh my god, there's the ending, man, and your baby is inside.
And it's you on your hands
You're a
and knees
terrible human
in the
being.
rain, screaming at the sky. Why?
You are the baby.
What's in the box?
That would be a real what's that movie that nobody understands?
Can we please? What is the fucking budget of her?
Timestamp it.
What is the movie that nobody understands?
Inception.
Thank you. That's
You're
a
welcome.
real Inception moment at the end when you're the baby.
Apparently his
But
new one
you're
is,
the baby.
apparently his new one is coming up there too.
You fucking idiot.
That was great.
Have you written down the budget?
I'm ready to fucking roll.
So it came
man.
out in 2013. You both got that wrong. Now you have a chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first.
Fine.
I said it cost $48.9 million to make, and then it made $184.1.
Okay. Well, I didn't think it did as well. I said it cost $29 million to make, and it made $148.
Wow. The critics liked this movie, but the people did not. It cost $23 million to make, and the box office is $48.3 million.
48.3. Holy
Yeah.
shit, 100 million off the box.
Even with those awards, people didn't go out to see it.
Wow, nobody liked that shit, man.
Well, probably because you got to make half your money in Asia, and that's too close to home for them because they're all having their relationships with their robots and stuff.
Right. Yes, that's a problem.
And it was too close to home.
I was about to do a horrible Asian accent.
That's the movie game. And Matt, he's the best at accents.
Really quickly, we should touch on that, the babies being born. Or did we touch on that?
We just sort of got
Okay.
into it.
No, we didn't. And we didn't talk about the vegan either.
Well, that's the second. I like the first half of this podcast, talk about this, except for that scare point. We said we're going to have people born not from sex, and they're going to be basically aliens because they just have a totally different, not necessarily learned experience, but their whole existence is nothing like we've ever had before. It's alien. And then when it got to the vegan thing, it was a bummer, and I checked out.
Well, we won't spend too much time on this because, again, Joe was just, for almost no good reason, pushing back so hard. All she was saying was, I eat meat. I love meat. I think we as a society and a culture and a world need to eat far less meat. It's not going to work out for us. And
Sustainability-wise.
Joe was just not fucking having it.
It's interesting because I saw this totally differently, and I've been the biggest critic of Joe lately. I'm aware of that. But I thought he did a great job here. I thought her arguments didn't seem like she even believed in them. And instead of
confusing.
going hard at her, he just, at one point I remember him saying, I think we agree about more than we disagree about, which is a great way to, I just find he's really good these days. He's become a good interviewer, and he's good about when he wants to, about not getting stuck on shit, But obviously you didn't think so. So maybe.
Well, I just looked at her as saying, like, I just think if we could eat less meat, it'd be better for the environment. It'd be better for us as a people. If we could learn, we could teach ourselves to be this way, and it'd be far better for us in the long run. And Joe was just like, no, I mean, I wholeheartedly disagree. And I look at it like I don't know.
Well, I think, though, speaking of choices that we're all going to have to make sometime soon, the meat grown in the laboratory is going to be one of those choices. And especially for guys like Joe, because his argument is, for the most part, I know there's some connection to killing what you eat, but for the most part, it's elk is the best type of meat. I want to eat that type of meat. It's the best type of meat for me. If they can make that meat in a lab, it tastes exactly the same. They're actually growing that meat, so it's not artificial. It's just the same way a test tube baby isn't artificial, right?
Yeah, but when you find
just
out that they
grown a
gotta
different
fucking get the
way.
juice from like a calf that's still in the mother's womb that they slaughtered, that's where it gets pretty fucked up to me.
Okay, that's a different argument. But
That was really, when I heard that, I was like, that is fucked.
I think one day they'll be able to 3D
But you
print
see
a
what I'm
steak.
saying, right? Because at that point, sure, or 3D print a steak. Like at that point, a hunter like Joe is really going to have to be like, I fucking need that connection of killing, or else I'm just going to eat the meat that we're growing because, like
I disagree.
Matt
No,
said,
the hunt,
No,
the hunt
Joe's-
is the hunt is
hold
a
on.
challenge, and to eat what you hunt
well,
is
and
just
I
not
guess
to
you have
waste
to
it.
keep the populations down
That's
too.
what I was going to
That's
say.
very important. Yeah.
I have a buddy that lives in Pennsylvania, and he is like, first of all, they have a day where the entire state gets the day off. So if you're in school, you can leave to go hunt. They have so many deer. You have to kill them.
Right.
He says the highway is like the biggest nightmare you've ever seen with deer.
But if nobody is able to hunt anymore, if all hunting is outlawed, let's say,
They never do that, though.
except for when the times to keep the animals in check are, then those slots to keep the animals in check will be so valued because so many people you're with me?
I'm listening.
Well, I just think that'll be a problem. Joe will be able to hunt because he's rich and he'll always be able to buy his tags. But some people will just be shit out of
I think
luck.
that's a total poor man, rich man hunting,
I don't think so. Lots of poor people hunt because they can't.
or lots of rich
afford-
people hunt. A
Oh,
tiger,
there's
rich
no-
man, poor man. Like
Well, because
if
the
you
middle-
have lots of cars on your lawn, you're either rich
Well,
or you're
that's
poor.
unfair because the middle class live in the cities. Like the middle class don't usually live in the country.
Which makes it a perfect rich man, poor man.
I don't know, Kamar. I think if the cars are on your lawn, you're poor. I think if there's a lot of cars
If
in the
it's paved.
driveway,
It depends what cars they are.
if you pave that lawn and there's a lot of cars on it, you're
If
rich.
you have like 6 Lamborghinis on your lawn,
The perfect is an outdoor shower,
again, you
If
can
it's
have a
your
really
only-
shitty outdoor shower.
or you have an outdoor shower because you're rich.
I see what he's saying.
But the middle
He's
ground,
saying there's no gray area.
Oh, no,
You either have an outdoor
There's
shower.
definitely a gray
It's rich man,
area.
poor man. I'm sorry, I'm not budging on this.
That's a hill he's going to die
I'm
on.
dying on this.
This
hill.
Kamar's
is
dead
like
on
you
this hill.
hate anybody who had a pony. This is what we're doing here.
Like the Hyundai pony. Yeah, that car was the worst.
I had the pony.
A Shetland pony.
Shetland.
All right. You know who never gets mentioned anymore? Who should have been mentioned in this episode?
Brian
who got
Callen.
the total boycott? No. Chris Kressler,
The chiropractor?
the chiropractor.
No, he's an acupuncturist.
He's an acupuncturist.
Same difference.
No, it's not. It's
Acupuncture is actually more credible than
way
chiropractor.
more credible. Yeah. No, but just it's interesting how
It's not interesting.
Joe, that guy had been on 10 times. Joe quoted him probably once a month, and just
Oh,
And then Joe found out he was an acupuncturist.
there's a list of those guys. One thing that Joe mentioned in this, and he's mentioned a bunch of times, is how much he likes to eat. I don't think he has any correlation between munchies.
What do you mean?
Like, he smokes a lot of weed, and you get the munchies from smoking weed. Except for you, I guess you don't. You guys, I don't know how you don't eat.
I was about to say I actually don't get the munchies.
If
from
I
you.
smoke weed here, I'm going home and just eating everything.
So weird.
It is weird. But I think that's definitely, there's a correlation with Joe smoking copious amounts of marijuana and having the munchies and having to eat 2 steaks when he gets home. Plus, he has the access to it all.
I want to know how much weed he does smoke though. Like I think it's like at the studio for sure. Maybe before a workout or after. And then I don't know if it's a lot. Maybe writing at home after the kids have gone to bed. But I don't know how much.
If you had listened to that Adam Curry podcast like I'd asked, he talks about how Joe has a whole thing before the podcast where he just gets fucking cooked before the interview.
Interesting. I will listen to it. I know you sent it to me. I
And-
appreciate it. Why are you? What's that look?
I'm sure with his kids, he doesn't smoke weed. Like he doesn't want his kids to see him smoke weed.
there was zero look. You fucking crazy person.
Whatever. Fuck. I guess are we done with Miss Kleeman?
Yeah, the first half was really interesting and dystopia future. The second half was just the old meat argument. And I think I can understand the sustainability discussion, and technology is going to get us out of this one if anything is. But I'm not going to stop eating meat.
That's just everything you took from this whole.
Well, no, someone could listen to this podcast and go, "Yeah, I'm going to stop eating meat."
I looked at it and was like, I need to cut down. But I've been saying that
So
forever.
there you go. This did not change me whatsoever.
I've been buying my meat from like
A
when I buy
butcher,
red
yes.
meat, I go to a butcher and I pay these exorbitant amounts. I'm assuming that it's coming from a better.
See, that's my problem is the
But
assumption.
I don't know that for a fact. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could just be paying more money. Should probably look into
Like if
that.
I personally knew someone,
your eyes open.
if I knew
The
someone I
researcher
trusted
here,
that
right?
owned an abattoir, however the fuck you say it.
Abattoir
Slaughterhouse.
sounds like a place where you have tea,
No, it sounds like somewhere where a lot of sex is had.
Okay, that
like
too.
a ton of sex.
but not with dead animals.
Well, to each their own. Yeah, if I knew someone that owned, I would definitely only buy my meat there. But I don't know. I don't know that person.
I think it also has to do with how they're being.
How are you going to say goodbye to
Housed.
bolognese sauce?
I'm not.
How are you
It's
going to do
amazing.
that exactly?
But that's what I mean. Again, fine, buy the ground beef, but go and hopefully buy it from a place that isn't, stack killing cows.
Just ground beef.
Putting like
Peasant.
3 on top of each other so they only have to plunge one fucking bolt that goes
It's
through 4 cows' heads.
It's like you just
I'm
said, though.
assuming
That's rich
how
men
it
and poor
works.
men. You can only buy what you can afford. Chicken, pork.
I wonder if once the chip is inside you guys, it'll be like a Matrix type scenario where you will be eating slop and the chip will be convincing you that it's steak.
That's all I wanted. Is just a pill. I want to be skinny like you guys, and all I want is eat a pill that's the basic dietary requirements, and then I could virtually eat ice cream and
Dude,
burgers.
I think you are the perfect candidate for Elon's fucking swine chip.
Well, Kamar, have you not seen that stuff that looks like cum? Soylent, whatever it is. This guy created it.
Soylent.
Yeah, it's called Soylent. I think I'm getting it right. I'll Google in a sec.
it was like you said.
Because you know the movie
Soylent Green. Yeah.
is chopped
So
up
he,
humans.
yeah. He created this stuff called. I'll Google it. I might have the name.
tofu?
It's literally a liquid. It looks like cum. It has the consistency of cum. He lived off it for 6 months. It has it's literally like the shit that you saw in the Matrix, them eating. He created it. It's like a liquid that has all the essential fucking acids, nutrients, whatever this, that, and I'm clearly the.
But
fucking,
you put on your virtual reality glasses and you think you're eating
You
a
don't
juicy
need
burger.
glasses because there's a chip in your head and it's automatically putting these rosy lenses on everything as you're walking through like this dystopian future.
maybe we're already
of
in that though.
Sign me up. I'm sold.
Matt, get a knife and poke my eyes out.
Why?
Oh, don't do that.
We're gonna find out.
Like maybe we're just three.
That's what Neo
maybe we're
does,
three
right?
crackheads scratching at our arms, not even doing a podcast. Maybe this is just a.
Oh, but
That
that's,
would be the best.
dude, that's the whole thing with Neo, right? Like he decides to take the red pill and they fucking pull the thing out.
Yeah, I've seen the movie, but really it's all a transgendered allegory.
Yeah,
so.
they were pulling the dick out.
Whoa. And
Getting rid of it.
this hate crime was brought to you by. Okay, well let's rate it because we got to move on. We got to pay some bills. Can you start by rating it, Simon, please? Jenny Kleeman, 1539.
I give this one a 2.5.
2.5. Okay, Kamar.
Lovely lady. I thought there might have been a little bit of a problem with the delay, with the talking.
I thought that was on Joe's end
over.
more than hers.
Oh,
Yeah.
she wasn't in studio?
No one's fault. No one's fault.
No, this was Skype.
That was a look.
Didn't know
But
that.
no.
Well, that was a look for sure. Yeah.
But it was an introduced conversation and refreshing. They didn't talk about
No
much
politics,
and shit like that.
not a lot of corona,
I give it a
yeah.
3. The vegan, whatever.
I give it a 4. I thought this was a really good episode. I thought it fell apart at the end and with Kamar. I thought the meat, they kind of got lost in the. But I love these kind of podcasts. This is great.
It was refreshing after all.
I like these because we can talk about shit that no one's really right or wrong about. You know what I mean? We can just hypothesize about the future. We can give our opinions about how we feel it'll go. No one really gets butthurt. I
I
like
thought
this.
you were going to say this, that, and the next.
It's coming up.
Because you said give our opinions.
Yeah.
It's just an automatic.
I know. I got you. Pavlov's dog. We are going to pay some bills, and we'll be back with the last 2 episodes after this.
Keep your eyes open.
All right, we're back. 1540. Frank van Hippel? Frank van Hippel? Francis van Hippel?
Yeah, that sounds right. Sorry, I just got to get to my spot.
This
here.
was a breath of fresh air, this podcast, for sure. And when it started out, he sounded like a real nerd, like, oh, God, this is going to be. But he was knowledgeable about stuff that he didn't necessarily need to know about in his field. That Joe, when Joe asks something, someone says, oh, I can't answer that. He was able to go anywhere at any time.
This was also one of those people where I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And then in 30 minutes in, I'm like, I don't even care who this guy is. This is great.
Fantastic pool of knowledge.
So he is a exotoxicologist. Just letting you know what his title is.
Like, we know what the fuck that is.
I don't know, whatever. And he gave Joe a walrus penis, and I knew right away he was giving Joe a walrus penis.
Fossil.
And I wasn't watching it. I knew that's what this guy was going to do, because on Antiques Roadshow, on Canadian Antique Hunters, you know that one? They do this whole thing with a walrus penis.
I'm sure that's the only reason.
That's how I knew. Anyways, yeah, the Inuit got a really rough ride up there, eh? That's what I first took out of this whole podcast, that just they got all the fucking short ends of the stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever told you this, but my dad did some research about, they test all these military planes up over Nunavut.
New to this.
There's
Yeah.
hardly any people up there, so they think they can do that. And they're testing like whatever crazy stealth bomber. Who knows UFOs? Who the fuck knows what they're testing up there? Anyways, when these planes fly over these Inuit towns, fishing towns, the vibrations are so huge that it like really fucks them up.
Like toxic chemicals into their food supply?
No. Like I think it had something to do with like the literal vibrations, and then it would make them depressed because they were constantly getting these weird functions. I don't know exactly. All I know is that they test a lot of shit up there. So again, short end of the stick.
Yeah.
At least we don't call them Eskimos anymore.
Yep, you're right. That did it. That was the big turnaround.
Obviously not. So it's like it reminds me of like the solutions we come up with. It's sort of like how they fight cancer, and actually you almost kill the person hoping to get the cancer.
Yeah.
And then we find out all these chemicals, DDT.
Well,
Well, just real quick, it kind of bled in from what the last, we never really touched on that. She was saying, the last lady, Jenny Kleeman, she was kind of like, her point was we have all these things that we could do to solve problems, like an easier route, but we choose to do these really weird workarounds for no good reason. And that's kind of what he was saying, like the DDT thing, like we had this perfect solution to something that we could use in small amounts, only at the right times, and it would be fine. But instead, we were just blasting it on everyone, everywhere, and it was doing irreparable
That's human
damage.
nature to go hog ham on something.
they were spraying DDT on the soldiers like a fucking shower to kill the lice or the louse that was carrying the typhoid.
Yeah.
What I got from this one was that typhoid and malaria are just like the two motherfuckers, man.
Well, what did he say? They killed like 80% of people at war?
Yeah, 70% of people at war or something. It's crazy.
Staggering
And that,
number.
like,
We're not even fighting each other.
When the Spanish came over or whatever, like 2 million native people just wiped out in 1 year.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is.
From the chickenpox, no?
It's crazy.
There's one thing is a virus, to the other thing is the actual chemicals that we use to kill us.
Yeah, well, that's different. That's like the Australia scenario, right? Bringing in the cane toad to kill the this, and then the cane toad ends up being a real motherfucker.
Then you got to bring that.
Well, and that's what Joe was saying, right? Is like, if we're going to start fucking around by getting rid of mosquitoes, which are the cause of malaria, which is killing all the people, what's going to happen? Like, is it going to be another situation like Australia where they bring in something to kill something or take away something and it fucks up the whole ecosystem for everyone?
Another tie-in is if we are going to go more vegan and have to grow more vegetables, we are going to have to employ, I mean, at the end, he sort of summed it up as there's other ways to keep our crops from getting eaten by bugs and whatnot for sustainability.
Was he talking about robots?
No, he was talking about species actually a bit, and I don't think there's any way that we can proceed without using chemicals, though. So wash your food. If there's one simple takeaway from this episode,
But
I eat so many strawberries. That bummed me the fuck out.
yeah. What are you going to do now?
I'm probably going to keep eating strawberries.
Who knew that malaria was such a prevalent disease in the USA?
in the South.
Well, they were saying that like the Civil War, a lot of it, original divides might have been caused by proximity and how close you were to.
I thought he
the
said something about
malaria.
yellow fever as well. Maybe that was somewhere else.
Oh, the black vomit one? Oof. That one sounded fun.
Yeah, that sounds like an alien disease.
Yeah, didn't sound...
Like when venom gets inside you, you know?
And it makes COVID seem not that bad.
How about the schooling,
just
the
later,
schooling
Kamar.
of the birds
Stay
and the
tasty.
fish? Because I don't know about you, but just in my kind of stupid head, I was like, these are kind of creatures working together in unison to, you know, like it's a school. They're learning together and they're moving as one to complete an ultimate task, where really it's just survival of the fittest.
They're using each other as a human shield.
They're just trying to get to
bird
the
shield or-
middle because anything on the
Better you than me.
fringes is dangerous. And I thought that was a perfect microcosm for like life. You know what I mean? You have these people on the fringes who have,
Protect you?
well, maybe, I guess, who have ideas and who are thinking outside the box. You know what I mean? And they're the people who are picked off first by the sharks because they're putting themselves out there, where everybody else is just running towards the middle, constantly working in the school, because they think that the end result is going to be something that they're looking for, when meanwhile, maybe living on a little bit on the fringes.
You're
is-
exactly what Bridget Phetasy and Colin Quinn were talking about. People in the middle used to be the zealots who were like, oh, these fucking idiots. And now the people in the middle are the ones who are looked at as like the maniacs. That's good, Simon. Keep painting that picture, you
Anyways.
M.O.C.A maniac.
M.O.C.A, baby. It'd be a lot cooler if it was just some brain thing and they were all. I sort of ruined it for me.
You were hoping birds were cooler.
Birds and fish sort of had this ESP, hard left, hard right, but no, they're just fending for themselves. Good to know.
I mean, just back to, whatever. Doesn't matter. You guys are. Ooh.
How are you stressed about this conversation?
I think because we dropped the M.O.C.A.
Even if you win the rat race,
You're still a rat.
you're just a rat.
Okay, the cliches are up. There was just one annoying part about this podcast when he mentions that they were working in an area that had a whole bunch of landmines and stuff.
Yeah.
And Joe's like, how many? He's like, a lot. There was a lot.
And Joe was like, no, but like how much?
How much? Then he started talking to get away from it. And Joe's like, no, but seriously, how much?
Yeah, like per hour. I don't know, 1 an hour. Oh, wow,
It was
that's
such
a
a
lot.
weird thing for Joe to want to know the exact number of.
Well, the weirdest part is it's not like he can give any frame of reference to Joe. I found 3 elks worth of artillery every hour. You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to... I just don't...
I found 3 elks worth of artillery. Yep. 3 hookers worth of artillery.
Did Joe want to know a number to turn around and use it to tell people? I always wonder if he's mining for material
That's a good question.
or whatnot.
That's a great question. I never thought of that.
I doubt it. I just think he gets hung up on weird, like...
I doubt it, too.
How
He's a
many,
human.
How
Yeah.
many landmines exactly? And I wish he said
Yeah, no, I think
442 we found.
I think he just gets hung up. Just like I get hung up on things and you get hung up on things.
I yelled out, enough, Joe. He said a lot.
I didn't yell it out. It didn't bother me that much.
Oh, I don't think I actually said it out loud, but in my head, I was like, let it go, Joe. He said a lot. A lot's a lot. More than a little. I wish he started fucking with them.
Can I run something by you?
Oh, I knew something was coming by that look. Go ahead.
So, just talking about insects. Were we talking about insects?
No, you just wanted to talk about insects.
No,
You saw it on your paper.
They were talking about insects.
Yeah.
Because
There's
of,
more beetle species than...
Right. And Joe loves talking about
And he didn't include the band.
if they were huge.
He didn't even include the band. Kamar's on fire today.
If they were huge, how crazy it would be, right?
Well,
we know that.
The ant, the octopus, anything if they're huge.
Yeah, but he's like the exoskeleton couldn't handle... He made it all make sense.
When
He
you
was
think,
so smart.
when you think about ants, though, and like how crazy they work together, and how strong they are, and all of that, and the shit they build, it's, I guess, would be the like equivalent of humans and pyramids. You see what I'm saying? Really crazy feat.
It makes the pyramids not so crazy.
No, it still makes the pyramids crazy.
Well, but we have another
Why don't you
example
just
of...
say what you're trying to fucking say
No,
instead of...
that's what I'm trying to say. That's all I was trying to say, is that it's very like it's like playing itself out on a very, very small stage, you know? And then we think we're this giant stage. Here's where I'm going, Matt. We think we're this giant stage because human beings think they're super important. But as you pan out, think about it as a movie, and it's panning away from the earth, and it gets to a high enough place, and we're just ants building pyramids, you know, or anthills.
Great analogy. I think, though, the king is the bumblebee.
The king of the bugs.
The bees are more important than humans to this planet. If it's pollinating that cycle, but how they communicate, and it seems like they're so diplomatic. I know they fight with other, like one hive will fight with the colonies. I believe that, but for the most part, they just get the job done, communicate, are able to make their queen. They're all like genderless almost.
I thought they were all females unless they needed males.
Or whatever. But you know what I mean? Like there isn't this, they have no patriarchy. Or they have a matriarchy.
Oh, so you believe the patriarchy is the problem?
Well, it got exposed by COVID. No, I just bumblebees. They always come up every once in a while, and this guy just talking about how they communicate and show directions to get places. Bumblebees are the coolest.
Do you think it's kind of like? Did you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No,
The dolphins are. The
highest
mice are the highest being. They're the ones who are actually running the program, which Earth is, and they're here as mice to monitor. And the dolphins are also very smart, and they're only here for the fish. And then they take off right before the Earth gets bulldozed by the Vogons or whatever.
And thanks for the fish.
And thanks for the fish.
But
and thanks for the fish.
the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy mentions not the bee.
Well, when the bees leave, when there are no more bees, consider that game over.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've heard that for years, like save the bees.
Yeah. Save the bees.
And honey. There ain't nothing wrong with honey. It was a nice sweetener.
Just
Like you had to sell that to just me. Honey.
Well, I don't know.
I've saved a lot of spiders. Just, again, throwing that out there.
But
Can you tell us
fuck
which
a spider
ones?
up.
Huh?
Well, he wanted a list.
Oh, well, I know that I've killed at least in the past month probably 26 spiders, or haven't killed 26 spiders. But this is the problem, is that these spiders are being saved by me, the person who would have killed them. So, like, am I really a hero? You see what I mean?
Because you made the decision to not kill them. Well, no, you're the only one that made you out to be a hero is you.
I mean,
So
I am a
you
hero,
answered the
but
question.
am I really a hero?
No, you're definitely not a
I was
hero.
going to kill the spiders. I didn't kill the spiders. The spider wouldn't have died if I wasn't going to kill it. I didn't kill it. It's alive. I mean, I put it outside.
So
a bird could have killed it.
The question is this: if I was going to come to your house and kill your wife,
this is the
and then I didn't, am I a hero?
it would be more like, no, you're not a hero.
So then, no, you're not a hero either.
But it's different.
How so?
Well, because like killing another human being is a huge deal. Killing a spider is not a huge deal.
Oh, so then you're definitely not a hero.
I'm sure you fucking barbarians just kill spiders without even thinking about it.
Well, he calls his people barbarians,
Without even
so you're
giving
missing
it,
the point.
without even giving
Barbarians.
it a second thought. Whereas I'm catching a spider in a cup and releasing it outside.
M.O.C.A
So
only.
I'm more of a hero than either of you two guys are, for sure.
I only killed the spider for someone else. I let all spiders in my purview around me live.
That sounds very Nazi-ish. I'm just throwing that out there.
If someone's like, please kill that spider, it's making me uncomfortable.
Like, I'm not
afraid to do that.
I'm not gonna kill my family, but I'll kill yours.
I'll kill you. And the reason why I don't kill spiders is because I always think it's going to make it rain. I've always believed that wife tale. But when I was tree planting, I ate a spider with a huge sack like that for $50.
Like a huge cock
Sack. It had a big sack on its
of
back.
eggs.
I don't know.
Well, what do you think's in the sack?
Okay, eggs. Sure. Little spiders.
$50?
Yeah.
Dude, you probably still have spiders inside you.
I'm still here. Maybe.
Kamar's probably being controlled by the spiders. I bet all Trump supporters are actually controlled by tiny little spiders inside them.
$500 billion to
It's just
build up
500
black
million
communities.
spiders in a trench coat.
It's going to be tough to beat.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe it's the ticks.
It's all the CIA.
That goes without saying, man.
But yeah, this podcast obviously was just refreshing because there's no politics. I don't barely think he even got in COVID, and it was full
There
of
was
facts and
politics.
knowledge
He was very, he was pretty clear in his politics.
as a scientist. But I just don't think it was political.
No, I agree with you. It wasn't political.
Do you guys see the irony in the fact that they're finding these ancient civilizations underneath rainforests that were planted by those civilizations?
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is nuts. And the idea that these rainforests and this is a perfect example, okay? I don't know of what, but of something. Here we are, you, me, we go take a trip to the rainforest, okay? We get there and it's amazing and
Probably not, but you get there.
we're in the jungle and we're just thinking we're in the jungle. There are animals and we're surviving and blah, 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 whatever. Fuck, do I ever move my hands a lot when I talk, eh?
Oh, you're like an Italian.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm going to try not to do that. So we're in the jungle, and we're just like jungle. You know, we think it's normal.
Get down, get down.
Not normal, but normal.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this was something that was cultivated by a people thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, you know? Like
They got completely out of control.
the jungles?
They didn't plant the jungles to do that. It just went wow.
The point is, okay, so when you walk through the Gatineaus, there's 50 different types of trees that are up there. I'm guessing here. They're there because they're there. That's where nature has put them. I mean, sometimes you'll run across a sapling field, but it's pretty obvious when you see it. They were growing certain trees for certain reasons. Maybe it was done exactly so it got to where it is today.
I was thinking it might have something to do with the receding of the ice age. Like this was, say, the last place to have ice on it as it receded. That's how they made the Canadian Shield, and somehow sort of left way more. It just seems like the soil is so much more.
Are we talking about the rainforest?
The rainforest? Yeah. The whole planet was covered in ice, right?
Yeah.
And then it receded. So one area is going to not have ice. Well, one area does, and that would be the rainforest first.
Would be the first place
Around the
without
equator.
ice, is what you're saying. Yeah.
Have a longer time to develop and grow and be this.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking in comparison to our Canadian forests.
Or maybe it was the first place that had, like you're saying, land that was farmable again.
One and the same, I think.
Either way, we didn't come along for a very long time after that. So if you're talking about the rainforest that these guys planted, that's so long after that.
After the ice melted, yeah.
Yeah.
That's debatable, depending on how many ice ages you think there's been.
That's the question of the day.
It's not really that debatable, because even if you think the last ice age, when do you think people came along after that, Simon?
What do you mean?
There were no people when the ice age happened?
So you went, let's hear your Graham Hancock last ice age fucking theory, because I'm just curious.
Okay, let's say that 12,500 years ago, or I don't know, 10,500 years ago, a comet hit the Earth.
Sure.
Like, what's his name? Randall Carlson thinks.
Okay.
And it started some cataclysmic type of ice age
Okay.
or something, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Just fine. I'm going along with you.
But
I'm right there.
I think maybe the way it works is that the comet hits, the smoke blocks the sun. Eventually, we don't have sun. The world collapses into some sort of ice age. And then the ice finally melts. There are massive floods. And then we get back to a state of normalcy. Does that sound kind of
But it's
right?
like after the ice age, the fish crawls out of the water.
That's my point, though.
But wait. Hold on. Yes, I agree. On the very first,
I'm listening.
The very first ice age, going back 1,000,000+ years or whatever.
It was 10,000 years ago, wasn't it?
No, this
I'm
is
fucking with you.
So why does the 110? So you're saying that people survived the 10,000 years ago?
by Graham Hancock's theories. There would have been a small group that were left over from, like, not everybody gets wiped out. That civilization would have joined together with like a more hunter-gatherer type group, and eventually would have started building civilization back up again. And the idea, Matt, is that
either way,
maybe
the point,
every 20,000 years that same kind of thing happens, or 10,000 years, or if it is, maybe we're coming up on another one, you know? And the comet's going to hit, but
So you think
you and Kamar are going to be left after.
So your argument is that comets hit on a regular, like on a pattern, like every 10,000 years a comet hits.
I'm not.
You think that's how it works?
I am not suggesting anything.
M.O.C.A. It's comets, though, asteroids. I mean, stuff hits the planet.
But that is
Yeah, he's talking about extinction level event comet.
That is, I think, the idea, according to Randall Cunningham and
say we need
Graham
one?
Hancock, who we are going to hear very shortly on the Joe Rogan podcast, who will be joined by some guy he really respects, which is
I like how you called it the Joe Rogan podcast, like a 70-year-old mother. Did you see who was on the Joe Rogan podcast today?
Yeah, I know you're looking forward to that, and I hope it
I'm
would
not.
be so amazing if he does talk about ice ages, because we had just had some
that'll be
general
great.
interest in it.
Either way, Simon, my point was simply that, whatever, who gives a shit?
They were talking about malaria a lot and those pills you take to that give you the really weird dreams.
Yeah.
Malaria, I think, gives you really weird dreams too. I'm surprised you didn't know about malaria because of Justin Wren.
I did.
Because he's had it 8 times.
I know, but
or
he
whatever.
gets it in South America.
Oh, you meant you were more surprised learning that it was in North America.
I was totally shocked.
Closer to us, yeah.
Totally shocked. I didn't, but I guess it makes sense.
And he wears mosquitoes, I think.
That's right. And he was saying that they come from South America. How hard is it, or Central America? How hard is it to hook a ride on a charter plane? Or I don't know how that shit works, you know?
The craziest is the sickle cell shit and the slavery. That was insane.
Isn't that nuts? And then they ended up being more tolerant to malaria. So they were more highly valued because they could do the work when nobody else could do the work. It's really fucked up, man. But this is what I'm saying. Malaria is intertwined into the way things are the way they are.
And it's all these things had to happen to get to here. Not they could have done it this different way.
The reason they used DDT, like you were saying, was to try and stop the malaria.
Yeah. So we're here.
They
Despite
brought
our
in the
destructive
spider to catch
solutions.
the fly. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. I guess she'll die.
It was interesting. I actually saw the video before Jamie pulled it up of the ducks in that Chinese field. I just saw it random on the internet.
That's weird, eh?
Yeah.
But that's cool, using animals to do the work.
As long as it doesn't go in the
As long as
King
you
Code
can
effect.
continue the balance of the ecosystem,
Right.
yes.
As long as those ducks belong in those fields.
Yeah.
Look, I guess my point is, let's say you have a groundhog problem in Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
The most efficient way to kill the groundhogs using a natural enemy would be to bring in more foxes.
Mm-hmm.
If all those foxes were tagged, so at the end you could round them up and take them away, that would be a super efficient and sustainable way to take care of the pest. The problem is when you're taking a fox to,
the problem is
Asia where it doesn't belong or whatever, and right.
Well, the problem too is you don't want an animal to. Let's say the foxes are eating fucking 10 times their weight a day in whatever rodent you're trying to get rid of, and then they're fucking like crazy. You didn't tag all their kids. You know what I mean? How long are they out there?
Yeah, those are all things you got to take into account. I just think maybe there's a way to do that.
It's a balance.
I'm sure there is. We're just too dumb to figure it out. But you're probably
that
right.
doesn't involve robots.
But that's what this guy was saying. This guy's point was there's a lot of ways. He said there's ways to use very minimal chemicals using non-invasive species.
But he's saying I think what I heard is there's no way to do it without. This is just
No, he said for sure there's times where we absolutely do need them. That was his point, was we've created these things that do work. We're just overusing the shit out of them in scenarios where we don't have to use them.
Human nature.
And it's killing us. I think that's what I took away from it. That was
morbid story of the podcast is the Nazi's wife who killed herself because he made chlorine gas. He was like, out of here. And how morbid is it just working on mustard gas or chlorine? The only reason you're making this,
dude, you have to be so filled with hate. You know what I mean? You have to hate your enemy.
But you're scientists too, so it's how can we make it the best? How can it make all the lungs explode in the least?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is you have to hate those other people. You have to believe so strongly in whatever cause you're a part of to do that. To know that I'm going to end these people in the most horrific of ways. Terrible.
And they don't have to see my face. It's cowardly, terrible. That was a sad story.
Jude, do you have something to say about this?
Joe didn't know that Dr. Seuss drew the pictures for Dr. Seuss books.
I did not know that either.
Really?
You disgust me.
It was his birthday on Friday.
He fought the Nazis.
Are you going to tell us about the Boner book? Or
Oh, the Boner book, yeah. Dr. Seuss, apparently the reason he wrote his first children's novel was because he really wanted to write this other book called The Big Book of Boners.
About erections.
I'm not sure if I said to Matt, I think it was boners might have implied to political.
Hold on, when you said that to me, you hadn't fucking.
Oh, no.
Oh, you are the
researcher. Oh no, he's the researcher.
You are the problem.
I couldn't. That was the perfect time for that fucking button.
What's going to be insane, Kamar, is that I'm probably 100% correct.
What's more insane is when you say I'm going to do more research on that. That is the end of your research on that.
Yeah, I feel like all of a sudden I'm the one that does the most research on this show, and that's a real problem.
This is amazing, though. I did do research because when they were talking about Dr. Zeus, I said to myself, oh my God, I think there's a Dr. Zeus conspiracy. So I went and looked. No, he's on the level.
Except for this boner book.
Well, there was the boner book. I found out about the boner book. I just didn't go further into the boner book. Like I went one level deep.
What about?
But what I'm saying
what
is,
about military propaganda?
I could have just said Theodor Geisel is a Nazi, and you would have believed it.
I wish you had.
Would have been better for me.
Anyways, I got this book when I was a young man called The Secret Art of Dr. Zeus, and it was like paintings that he had done in kind of in his style, but more to an adulty audience. And it was a big deal for me.
Great story, Gary.
Cool
Zeus,
story,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, man. But he drew anti-Nazi propaganda, and Joe didn't even know he fucking drew his own storybooks, and neither did you. It's ridiculous.
Well, Kamar doesn't call himself an illustrator.
Did you not listen to or read Dr. Zeus books?
I think I had them read to me because I was a child.
I'm just asking though, if you read Dr. Seuss books, does that mean that you like have to know that he illustrated them?
Well, I would say, when class I read, this is Green Eggs and Ham, written by Dr. Zeus, illustrated by Dr. Zeus. You ever notice that our teachers gave full credits to the books? I just wasn't paying attention.
It's why would you know that? I guess I don't know.
I never heard a teacher say illustrated by. Are you fucking kidding me?
Maybe it was at the library. I remember being read to, and
No, like when the teacher read to you in class when you were little, and she would say, written by and illustrated by. I agree
okay,
with Kamar.
thank God. I thought I was crazy.
You're not crazy, Kamar.
No, I think you're both fucking
No,
crazy.
you went to a shitty school that just didn't care about artists.
He was probably working on computers by that point and doesn't
yes,
even remember
yes,
what
yes,
being
yes.
read to was like. He was
I
being
love
read
it.
to by Siri.
I love I'm like 4 years younger than your old ass, and you're somehow still like, oh, this guy already had Siri reading to him. I had to walk to school barefoot uphill both ways on broken glass. Piece of shit.
What about iron poisoning being a contributing factor to people acting crazy?
You're talking about lead.
I'm talking about iron.
That goes in. That goes.
You're
in,
talking about lead.
I am talking about something.
That goes in down the same of the cat.
That's exactly what I was thinking, and we give it to the cat, but maybe everybody just has iron poisoning.
But what's
It's
weird,
lead.
so what's weird about lead is it's
Iron.
the best paint.
Yeah, well, that's
Like when you put it on, it goes on better than anything. But it kills. It goes back to those watches.
Kamar.
What was
That's
the
why
episode?
they put it on all the children's toys. Red paint. That was a problem one year with the China.
Yeah.
It's because it's the best paint.
But I work all the time, and
Yeah,
I have
but
to paint over lead paint.
you're not licking the lead paint.
No, obviously, but it's out there still.
It's not like you're working with asbestos.
Maybe we're all crazy because of the lead paint. We're all
No,
crazy.
maybe you're right. What am I saying? M.O.C.A.
M.O.C.A.
You probably are right, Kamar. The same way that red food dye fucks us up, the fucking iron paint probably fucks us
Because
up.
when I find lead paint, I don't remove it. I just put something over it because other paints won't cover it. It'll bubble up through.
Well, a lot of the time that's what they'll do with asbestos because they don't want to remove it because the second you touch it, you're fucked.
But that was all obviously like a really, and there are some uses of asbestos that still work, but it was just a plentiful. Is it insulator?
Yeah, well, it's inside people's homes. It's like surrounding you.
Yeah. But it's exactly like he was talking about with all these things with the chemicals. Like, it's
like
just
li-
another example.
Living under power lines.
Living under,
Can't feel good about living under power lines.
do we know they do something wrong?
Probably not, but it still probably doesn't feel good.
I live under power lines.
Do you?
Well, in the back, you know where I walk, Chico. That's
Oh,
there
yeah,
for
no.
power lines.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like if it fucks up your offspring, maybe, but if it gives you superpowers, Who can say if it's good or bad?
Again, show me some proof of the superpowers, and I'm all for living under the power lines.
If you can just
Magic.
broadcast television.
Well, we know that exists. Do you have magic, though, Matt?
Maybe. M.O.C.A.
Well, maybe you do, and you live right near power lines. All I'm saying is we could draw a correlation there.
Maybe it's the strawberries I'm eating.
Maybe it's the strawberries.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was the bottom
Touche,
line
Matt,
I got
touche.
at the end of this fantastic podcast was wash your food.
He was like 100% sure that COVID was passed on by an animal.
And so it's just a happenstance.
Talking point. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I mean, Brett Weinstein's the only one I've heard say that one. And now Joe...
Brett Weinstein and Simon.
Yeah, sure. But Joe now hangs on to that like it's absolute gospel, which is part of like...
Joe does that a lot.
But that's one of my problems with Joe is like he could have 6 other scientists, PhDs on, and they could all say like, "Oh, I read something else," or I you know, and he'd be like, "Yeah, but this guy." Like he holds certain people in such high esteem. It's
Chris
interesting.
If it came from a lab, though, just Diablo avocado,
Yeah,
we would know more about it.
Why?
because they'd have data on it.
Exactly.
It was in a lab.
The randomness of the bat to the soup or whatever the fuck it was makes more sense that it can't be handled with, and no one knows if it's on surfaces, masks, no masks, blah, 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 blah.
No, because if it came from a lab, you're assuming that it was like unintentional from a lab. If it was an intentional lab drop, then you would have no information about it, nor will you ever.
What are you doing with it in the lab in the first place if you have no information about it?
What are you talking about? The people who are making it
Yeah.
let it loose for a reason.
But they also know that it transfers this way, the temperatures, whatever. The most knowledge about whatever it is they would have in this lab, correct? More though than the experts here who are telling us what to do, correct?
So I hold on.
We must assume.
I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, M.O.C.A.
What he's saying is
I just
this.
don't understand what you're saying.
What he's saying is this. Let's say I have coronavirus, because that's what I do. I test viruses, right? I'm a lab that tests viruses, okay?
Correct.
So I've been testing this coronavirus, Corona-19, COVID-19, right? I've been testing it for months, years, days, however long. I would have information.
You are the expert.
I am the expert. What he's saying is I would know things about it already. Like I would know
The
how
most there
long
is
it
to
lives
know.
on a surface. I would know how easy it is passed along. I'd know the ways it's passed along. What he's saying is
Agreed.
since we don't tend to know a lot about it, and since it changed so drastically over the last 6 months, Kamar's arguing that his argument would be, doesn't it seem more likely that
Here's my Diablo avocado.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to explain to him what you're
I
saying.
was saying to Kamar, or what I was about to say to Kamar, I don't know if I did yet or not. If you are, okay, that's assuming that the people who made the virus in the lab, it got out by accident.
No.
If it got out on purpose,
Yeah.
why would they tell you anything anyways? They would give you the least amount of information because they don't want you to fight the virus
The information's there though.
with people who work for the bad guys.
But that's a different thing. Withholding information. Someone is doing something nefarious and doesn't want anyone to know about this virus.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. In your scenario, it got out by accident.
The information is there. That's all I'm saying. If it came from a lab, whether it came out by accident or on purpose, someone knows more about this virus than we do in that situation.
Okay, sure.
And your contention is, yeah, well, they put it out, but they're not going to let you know about it.
Right.
Why-
Like let's just say, let's play this out. Let's say China is trying to fuck with everybody else.
Well, that's what you're saying.
And they released the virus that is now fucking with everybody else. What you're saying is, well, there are people in China who know about the thing that they released to fuck with everybody.
Yeah. And Russia, America, all these countries go try to, what the fuck is this shit? Come on, guys. You fucked up. We won't tell everyone that you did this, but we got to know what we're doing here. And China just goes, nope, we're not telling you because we like to fuck you over. We're assuming that your agencies have know more than we do.
Sorry, let's back up. That's not at all what's happening. China is saying, just like you're saying, oh no, this thing got out by accident. Here's everything we know about it.
No, China's saying it came from bat soup or whatever.
Fine. Let's say that they find out that it did come from a lab. Do you think they're going to admit that they're out to fuck everyone else over?
Well, if that is the case, then the world should be at war with China, because this is just too irresponsible. Do you not agree? Like, what grounds are there for you guys are out of control?
What I'm saying, I have zero proof to what I'm saying. They can't go to war on a fucking speculation.
I don't know. I'm assuming your CIA guys or whatever know more about this than the average person knows.
Oh, he can't argue that.
I mean, I will agree.
He can't argue that.
I will agree with that, but that doesn't then back up any other statements you made.
But no, all it's saying is if China did this nefariously, do you not think that's grounds for the whole world to say, fuck, this has got to stop?
I totally do.
There it is. It wasn't a discussion. It was just a yes or no answer.
Well, then yes.
And we aren't doing that, so maybe it is just from bat soup. I don't know anymore because it's gone on so long, and the second wave's here, and no one still knows anything, and China's back to business, allegedly. All these things make the bat theory, it just happened to be our time to catch one, more feasible than the lab for me. And if it came from a lab, they hopefully are working behind the scenes or something to do something, because nothing's being done, it seems like, from the source to find out what this is. Agreed?
Do you have insider information into who's doing what to figure out?
No, obviously 3 months ago, I was like, blow up China, they fucking did this, la, 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 la. Or we had the guy transferring the vials on his bike, and it just fell off and broke, which is the accidental. But as things are getting more and more out of control, it seems more random.
No matter what, no matter how it all played out, nefarious or not, China is fucking responsible for something.
So that'd be the interesting thing if China vaccinated their population and then did it. And the sickness that they were experiencing was just reactions to the vaccine and not the actual virus. Whoa.
That's very interesting, Kamar. I like that a lot. And
Back in.
that would totally go to this. Remember right at the beginning, there were these videos for a couple of days of people dropping dead on the streets in China. And you were like, oh my God, this fucking virus is crazy. Well, that would lend itself perfectly to what you're saying. Little sickness from the vaccine they're giving, but put on TV that they're getting hit real hard.
The context is just not there. It's someone reacting to a virus, but not the way you think. They got it on purpose, not just this out of control bat soup is going around.
Well, I don't know if you want to go back to many episodes ago where I first laid out to you what I thought was going on. That was right around the time when I designed the new Chinese flag, remember?
It was actually the Chinese flag.
The Chinese flag, I'm sorry.
And yes, I remember.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that was my contention all along, Kamar.
Winds of change.
They let it out on their own people to take care of the old that were bunking up their system, and everybody else gets an antidote.
But there's a theory that they let it out to stop the Hong Kong protests.
That I don't know about. That seems like a lot.
Whoa,
for a lot.
M.O.C.A.
But M.O.C.A.
M.O.C.A.
I just said I don't know about it, Matt. Meaning not.
You
like,
said it with a very dismissive tone, though.
I didn't mean.
You have to be M.O.C.A. in intention and tone.
Maddie, I didn't mean.
You gotta hold him to it.
I didn't mean I don't know about that. I meant like I legitimately don't know about that.
Okay, well, that's a change.
That's a
now, the way you said
possibility.
it there.
Well, no, you chose to take it in a certain way.
Kamar?
All I'm saying is I think the bat makes more sense.
He doesn't
day.
even need
I know
the
he
word.
doesn't weigh in. It's hilarious.
Well,
I appreciate you, Kamar.
No, I'm supporting Matt in that you've come up with your M.O.C.A. You got to stand by it, and you can't flip flop on it. As a M.O.C.A, you can flip flop on many things.
I don't want to flip flop on M.O.C.A. I'm into M.O.C.A.
and we're holding you to your M.O.C.A.
Multi-optional conspiracy advocate.
It'll take a couple episodes to roll off the tongue.
The worst part is if this thing ever gets legs, like this podcast, 10 years down the line, there's going to be a bunch of M.O.C.A. Like, it will be a movement like Proud Boys that Simon will.
Exactly. Of course, that'd be the best. That'd
You
be the
don't need
best.
to worry about that.
That'd be the best thing ever, and I was there on the ground
The
floor.
first thing you
Well,
said.
you're around? No, I was there when it happened.
The first thing you said was, if this podcast ever gets legs.
Oh, never going to happen, yeah.
You just fucking
I'm sorry, boys. We have toes.
Twilight zoned yourself
We
out of
have
this.
to-
This
Toes.
podcast has toes.
I'll give him that. Maybe it has some.
30 toes.
What else did I want to tell you guys about?
No.
What else did I want to
No.
regurgitate?
We're rating this episode.
The
And we're
Lost
moving
City
on.
of Z. I was screaming, or I guess Zed. Are we Zed or are they Zed? I said that we're Zed. The Lost City of Zed. That doesn't.
You
roll
were
off
just
the tongue
screaming
very
over
well.
Z versus Z.
No. I was screaming over that he didn't know the name of the thing. He was saying like a million different names or couldn't think of the name. I was yelling.
He's
at
got
him
so
from the
much
start.
knowledge in his head. I give
Walrus
a pass on
dick.
everything.
Walrus
That's it.
dick.
Simon saw Walrus Dick and said 5. Stop the podcast.
Oh,
and
and-
making all this up now.
But he was right. He thought Kids was a documentary. He thought a lot.
That's coming up in the next
I know.
episode. I need to. Yeah, Joe made a huge mistake in this episode, and I have to rectify
hold him.
it right now.
Okay.
Joe said that.
Did you want his Spotify apology?
Joe said that the reason there are so many snakes in Florida, boa constrictors or whatever the fuck they are, is because of the assholes who let them go. They don't want their pets anymore and let them go, which is true. There are some of those assholes out there. But a lot of those snakes got released after the storms. People had to vacate their houses and they couldn't take their snakes with them, so they did what they thought was the humane thing, which is just let it out the backyard. Terrible idea, but it's not. I think he was like mischaracterizing the reason why maybe they have a snake.
He's making it
problem
sound
in
more
Florida.
irresponsible than it might
He was
have
making it sound like it was the bros, you know? And
I can see his video tomorrow in the sauna. I just want to apologize to the snake people of Florida. I really mischaracterized everything.
been. Was that good enough?
you say that facetiously.
Yeah, I
and
do,
Yet, here we are.
No. I pray I never have to see one of those videos again.
I hope that we'll have seen, because that it turned out that what he said was probably true.
Hold on, I'll say this. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe 1 or 2 of those a year if it was on something really egregious. Something really egregious where he was like, you know what, I got to go back on that. I was dead wrong. I don't mind that. Listen, I have no problem with someone coming out and saying, I misspoke, I was
If he
wrong.
like said a stat to like support a point he was making, and the stat was
No, he
totally
can just do it on the
wrong.
podcast.
Fine, but
You can just do it on a follow-up
okay,
episode.
sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do it on Instagram. I'm
That's
with
what I
you
don't wanna
though,
see
Matt.
anymore.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, I'm just
We
saying I have
shouldn't-
no problem with him doing that.
I'm not holding Joe like he's
I know-
not supposed
I
to
know.
be accountable. It was just weird.
I said it too. I agree. I'm just saying I don't mind him apologizing if he feels like he's genuinely, especially being in his position, being like, I don't want to spread horseshit misinformation. That's all. That's all I'm saying. You wouldn't want to either, Kamar.
I think it was more what information he spread, like what harm it was. It's one thing saying you could drink this water, it's fine, and it actually isn't fine.
I agree with you. I agree. The
I
information
did
seemed
see-
odd. I get it. I'm with you.
It was just characterizing one political side
Yeah.
as a terrorist. I don't know. Anyways, I hope I never see again. But of course, Joe can make mistakes. But I think what we yearn for him is to address it in real time. Well, that doesn't exist anymore because he does it live, but just on the podcast.
I'm with you on that. Listen, it was, of course, it was very odd. I'm just saying, I don't mind him coming out and saying, I got something wrong. Doesn't need to be, he doesn't need to do it there doesn't need to be an omissions at the end of every, he doesn't need to do his own post show where he's like, last week I fucked this up. I don't need that. I don't need an errors and omissions. I don't mind it once in a while though. If he feels like I really fucked something big up, I agree. That one was a really weird.
It'd be cool if they had a staff that did that, and so we were getting more factual. Then I mean, I'm sure we've taken something Joe said and turned around. We don't weaponize it, and that's what Spotify is. People are yelling at other people. They go, "Where did you hear that from?" Joe Rogan. I go, "Fuck, this guy's got to go." That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've sat here and been like, I disagree with Joe on this, that, and the next. I had that whole article about the mail-in votes that I pulled up. You know what I mean? Like, I still listen to him. I still enjoy his show. I'm
Yeah.
still a fan of his. Like, I think cutting someone off that you disagree, especially the weirdest thing to me is picking one thing that you disagree with on someone and cutting them off based on that is the craziest.
But it's just people using anything they get off Joe Rogan then to, like I said, weaponize and use an arguing point. They should just stop doing that. Listen to our podcast. See what we thought.
There you go.
Versus, well, no, but that's my only thought is why they want to edit these podcasts. Or they just think that someone's, you know what I mean? I don't see, I feel, that's actually the exciting thing. I feel like it's like Bad Boys now. Like it's living on the edge, listen to Joe Rogan. But it isn't. It's so harmless.
Yeah.
We used to be family.
Me, you?
No, me, us, everyone, and Joe. And now he won't even talk to us about Brian Callen, about Uncle Brian. You know?
Let's rate this episode, and I think that comes up.
I know, but this is how I feel. We used to be family.
Simon,
And something has happened, and we're not family anymore.
what do you give the Francis von Hippel?
Frank Von Hippel.
Frank. His name is Frank Von Hippel. You fucking commie prick.
I miss. What do we do at the beginning of every episode? Rate. I misrated the week.
Because you gave it 2.5.
I meant to give it a 3.5, not a 2.
look who's
Too late now.
Look who's changing the tone of his voice all of a
because
sudden.
This
That's a
one
M.O.C.A flip-flop.
Was a 3.
That's a M.O.C.A flip flop
A 3.5. That's my rating.
for this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kamar.
Wow. This was refreshing, knowledgeable, interesting. I give a 4 for sure.
I give it a 4 as well. Maybe even a 4.5. No.
And it was.
No, I'll give it a 4.
I'm trying to be like Simon, save my 5s, but
Don't worry, Matty. He'll give you a couple of his.
it's like we said, the first 15 minutes or whatever. The first 15 minutes, like, oh God, what have we done here? And then I was just, it's over already. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Are we gonna move on then?
If you're ready, we can do that.
Well, did you 4.5?
I said
Did
4.
you rank it?
I said a 4.
But then you said maybe 4.5.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm
And
just
then
sticking
you
with
looked
4.
at your phone, and we were all waiting with
Yeah.
bated breath.
We thought something's happening.
No, I just wanted to see that the Vikings lost by 1 point.
All right.
Just had to see it for myself.
1541 Bridget Phetasy.
Yeah.
And my problem, I like Bridget. I don't mind her at all.
Love the Bridget.
Don't mind her at all. Don't have negative things to say like Kamar did, but
What did I say was negative?
There's a but though.
there is a but
Get ready.
because
Buckle up.
it's the three-way relationship. That forever will be a point of contention for me.
Oh, Simon's for those listeners that are maybe new to the show, Simon is such a stickler for marriage. It's almost obscene. It goes back to his religious upbringing, which he denies
You're so
vehemently,
wrong.
but no.
Matt, you are so wrong. You couldn't be more wrong.
Okay.
You couldn't be more wrong.
Really?
That's not to say that I do believe in marriage.
Oh, you believe in marriage so strongly?
No.
Yeah, there is no, I don't think there's any institution that you believe more strongly in other than the CIA.
That doesn't make any sense, but okay.
Well, okay.
What?
I
Wait,
like
stop. Rewind. What's the three-way relationship?
Bridget Phetasy, we found out 2 times ago and last episode, I think, that she was part of
Oh, yeah. I mean, we learned from everyone those don't work out, though, so that sort of supports you.
well, that's what I'm saying. And she still contends that it wasn't bad.
It has to work sometimes. Not everyone blows up. I mean,
Oh, don't they?
and obviously, well, no, I was
Are
just
there
thinking,
3-way relationships that are like running 20, 30-year courses here that I don't know about?
Easy, Fran Drescher. Oh, don't they?
I mean, for sure there are. I
what
don't
you
know.
mean, for
about
sure
them.
there are. What it's called is a throuple. And
Let me wait.
I bet you the success rates are similar to normal relationships that are 50% divorce.
No, but let me ask you this, Kamar. They can't be only because I don't believe that, like, are we talking long term? Like, are we talking about 3 people staying together until they're old?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
No, there's no way I agree with you that those last as long as traditional marriages or untraditional 2-person relationships.
Nor do thruples last as long in relationships, not marriage, than normal relationships.
What's interesting, though, is that when they do end, do they go nuclear and all 3, or does one get cast aside? Or
I believe
whatever?
it's almost always one being cast aside.
Or one, maybe not cast aside, one walking away.
No, Kamar, I think you're absolutely right. Either or, cast it aside or walking away. The idea of them blowing it all up, like, you know, what's the old Bible story where they take the baby?
In the bathwater?
You know, no. They take the baby and they say,
What, Solomon?
the 2 mothers both think they have the rights to the child, and he says, well, cut it in half. And then one of them says, oh no, I don't want my baby to be cut in half. And he says, that's the mother. Anyways, it's not really the same, but I'm just
I
saying.
wish you had told that slower. That's a great story.
Anyways, fuck.
Usually it's a bonk.
What were we talking about, Matty?
I don't know. You were talking about religion and how deep into
No,
it
but
you
how
are.
the fuck did we? I'm not into religion at all. How did we get to religion?
You don't like thruples.
Oh, thruples, yeah.
Thruples were your problem, yeah.
I have a lot of problems.
Yes, I know.
Thruples are one of them. And I don't have a problem with thruples. Whoa, let's back up.
You do. You
'Cause-
started by
no,
saying.
hold on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're
Sorry, it's
you
a
are
M.O.C.A moment.
painting me into a corner again here. You're mispainting me. That's not what I said. I said I have a hard time taking her like as like a voice of reason because she thinks that thruples are a good idea.
But see, that's what I'm saying is you're hung up on one single questionable idea she has versus the rest of the ideas that you might agree with.
Right.
Which is kind of the problem with where
M.O.C.A.
we're at.
M.O.C.A.
And there's people who
And then you're going to hide behind some weird acronym.
No. I'm saying I should give her she should be able to like thruples. M.O.C.A.
Yeah, of course, because there's people who are vehemently against getting married, just traditional. Like, why do you got to get married or be in a couple
I know.
whatsoever? So.
I realize that.
And also, she was fucking wasted and shooting heroin and fucking everyone on the planet. And it's interesting that her sober self still thinks it's possible.
Well, that's my problem, I guess, is that look, you do fucked up shit when you're drunk, okay? Or you're high.
We all do.
But now, in retrospect, you should be able to clearly say, yeah, no, thruples are a bad idea.
Well, I don't think they are a bad idea.
Hold on, wait, stop. What if we've all said that like even the worst things there's got to be a positive in something. Maybe in all of your heroin junkiness, you were like, hated this. Thruple, not so bad. Hated this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I'm being too
narrow-minded.
Yes, I'm sure there are times where thruples maybe succeed.
Fuck yeah, in the bedroom.
I just think, as a human, we're all humans, okay? And you know as well as I do that we require certain things as human beings, and one of those things is like love and affection and all those things that go along with being in a relationship, whatever those reasons are that you're in a relationship for. And then you have to add another person into the mix. So it's like it's hard enough with two people to get all of that shit to work. And then you're going to add another person into the mix. I don't see it, man.
But you don't see it because you've never tried. So I would agree with you, but think about it. Maybe like all those times where you're like, fuck, I just wish I could get out of here for a night and chill. Imagine if you could just slide a woman, even better, out of nowhere and be like, oh, babe, you can bang this tonight.
You're talking about fucking, what's his fuck there?
Polyamory?
Mitt Romney, yeah.
But it's more like the poor throuple struggles. I think the rich throuple thrives. Like you had Hugh Hefner
money
go the ultimate way. You know,
money helps everything.
All I'm saying
That's all I'm
is,
saying.
in the end, no matter what, people feel jealousy. They feel there are things that I don't know. Look,
Yeah, but not everyone.
I'm probably wrong.
Everyone feels jealousy
right.
differently.
You're
I've
right.
met people that just are, dude. You could probably pull your dick out and slap their girl in the face, and they'd be like, "Blah." You know what I mean? And there's other people that you meet are just insane. Like, did you look at her?
Yep. No, you're right.
So it's
And do you see the amount of guys filming their wives fuck black guys on Pornhub?
I just rewinded, and now I don't give a fuck
Simon-
about Bridget Phetasy and
You sounded
thruples.
like such a moral high ground.
Let's move on.
okay.
Now, my problem with this podcast is Bridget's a comedian and Joe's a comedian, so I thought we could have just a lot of fun, but we get sucked back in to talking about the right and the left and the Twitters and the vid.
Well, in all fairness, Bridget Phetasy, that's what she does. She's a comedian who focuses on Twitter fights and fucking all relevant shit.
And I suppose because she already, the first one more told her story in depth, that's all they can do. But I'm just sick of it. Like it's are solutions being offered?
I don't know.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just stating that, yep, we're still here. People don't listen to that side, and you should be able to have a thought in your head and not be married to it. La, 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 la. Like I want to
M.O.C.A.
more have a laugh than.
Kamar, the worst part is like, even if let's say a great solution was brought forth, would it make a difference? Would it be implemented? No. So it's
Yeah,
almost
how's it
more,
gonna
you know what
relate?
I mean? Why fucking bother?
I guess it's talking about the same old thing, and it's relevant because their elections come up. But if there ever was an episode where Brian Callen could have been brought up,
Oh
I
my
thought
God, so many times.
I thought it was going to be in this episode.
I thought she almost made a mistake
and now
and was about to bring it up.
I am sure that there's a that guy
Oh, of course.
discussion
Has to be
that goes
for
without
every
saying.
podcast.
So how about Joe saying that Sam Harris will not be on the podcast anytime soon? That's
But he
he would do it remotely.
Oh, remotely. I didn't even think of remotely. Yeah. Right, exactly.
He just said he's not doing anything live, which also means, which I got meant that he was trying to get him in. Because also, Simon, after that podcast that we both said everyone should listen to, I felt like Joe was going to have him in for sure, but now it makes sense. I bet Joe did hit him up, and Sam was like, I'm not coming in there. I don't care if you're testing me. I don't care if you're testing everyone.
He's super paranoid.
He seems like the kind of guy who would be super paranoid, though. Totally seems like a neurotic.
No, I think someone who does acid is... Like, I think when you do acid, because you hear that people do acid and they think they're orange peel or all this stuff, you have to have some sort of reckless abandon in you.
Maybe.
Possibly. But yeah, I love Bridget, but I didn't need this podcast.
Simon, are you asleep over there?
No, I'm just looking at something. You know how I'm always talking about... No. Let's do this the other way. The CIA has it so easy right now.
Do they? Go on.
Yeah, people are so influenced by influencers. Like, think about what I just said there, okay? Influenced by influencers. It's a fucking verb. And not only that, so you have these people who are mouthpieces already. Like, that's what they do. It's just about what are they mouthpiecing about, okay? And then you have a system like the fungus that spreads the message immediately. Okay, we're all up to speed here?
That's the social media.
Yeah. So CIA agents, rather, like, they don't even have to try and make their druthers anymore. You see, I came about this the other way, Matt. They don't even have to try and make their druthers anymore. It's so fucking easy for them. They're just like, fucking reach into a hat, pull out which influencer you want to use them.
All that says to me is we'll never have another wind of change.
Well, they don't need it anymore.
But is it even the CIA? Are we saying the Russians are the king of the trolls? I mean, whether it's true or not, but it just seems it's the Russians that just know how to push the buttons. Or are they getting an algorithm that gives them, like, doesn't seem like they're the top of it? Or they're actually the sloppiest. CIA, China are way better, but you can't even trace it back to them. And everyone just thinks it's the Russians causing all this dissent.
Oh, that's a good question, too.
I mean, I'll agree with you that the Russians are doing some of it.
But they're doing it well.
And the Americans are doing it to the Russians. But I think the Americans are doing it the best against the Americans.
Actual propaganda.
And I think the Americans are doing it the best in Russia.
I wish we knew.
And I think, oh, sorry. I don't know. These are all just my personal opinion.
Yes, M.O.C.A, we know.
No, not even M.O.C.A. Just my personal opinion.
Like, outside of North America, I don't think too many people hate Trump.
I think you would be fucking mighty shocked.
Well, why? What? The Middle East, things are going well there. Like, there's less invasion, so those people aren't as mad.
Well, the Jews like Trump, but
okay.
The people who don't like the Jews don't like Trump. You get that, right?
I don't know that.
Okay, Kamar. The Jews are surrounded by Israel. You know them?
Israel.
Well,
Yeah.
the Jews aren't surrounded by Israel. They
No,
are.
no. Jews in Israel.
I'm going to tell
Okay,
Kamar
sorry.
about how it works out there because he doesn't seem to understand. The Jews are here, and they're surrounded by all of their enemies. Let's just say there's 6 nations, okay, that hate the Jews.
Yeah.
Trump loves the Jews.
Yeah.
Israel. I shouldn't say the Jews. I don't know if he likes Jews. He likes Israel. The people who hate Israel now hate Trump.
You think so?
It's a fucking no-brainer. Dude, are you being serious?
No, you're
here?
saying it's no-brainer instead of saying it's a fact. Like, you're just... I think they think he's a businessman or whatever and a womanizer, and there are chauvinistic countries that also are in Israel. But what Israel does have is the nukes there, right? Those countries around don't have nukes.
Oh, I think those countries do have nukes. You don't think Iran has nukes?
We know they don't have nukes because we keep blowing up their plants when they try to make nukes.
Okey doke.
You believe they do have nukes and we just...
I don't know, man.
Let 'em get
I
by?
don't know who has what.
We know Iraq doesn't have nukes.
They don't anymore.
What do you mean?
They never
No,
did.
there was no weapons of mass destruction.
If they did, they don't anymore.
What do you mean, if they did? That's a weird one.
I don't know what the fuck Iraq had.
Well, no, but we know from, they said there was
I just
weapons
think
of mass destruction.
Israel-
They went in, there was none.
Israel is safe regardless of the support they get from the United States
How do you figure?
because they have nukes.
Okay,
It's an interesting.
I still don't understand why you would possibly fight me on the idea that the people who hate Israel
Hate Trump.
hate Trump.
Because you just think that's what it is.
I'm not sold on it either, Simon, to be honest.
What? Okay. Okay.
I'm not. Listen, I just said I'm not sold. That's all. I just can't. I can't sit here and be like guaranteed fucking. Go ahead.
The people, the fight for the Gaza Strip, that whole thing, right?
Palestine.
Right. This has been going on
Since the 60s.
before Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when Trump comes in and supports heavier the Israelis than, let's say, maybe Obama did, I
understand your
think
logic.
They're
Listen,
going to hate him.
I know.
They become his enemy. They are now supporting the government that is keeping their people from their promised land.
All I'm saying is I'm with Kamar, and you're just. I get your logic.
Yeah,
I understand your
totally
jump.
understand you.
I understand your logic and your jump. I just don't think it's. I just don't think that I can say definitively that you're right because of your logic.
Okay,
That's all.
Just more to the point that
Do you think Great Britain hates Trump?
I think
I think it's split right down the middle,
Yeah, I
just like
think-
the U.S.
I think France might not like Trump. I think Russia likes Trump.
let's just put it this way: the places that had riots after the George Floyd thing, they would have turned that into Trump is responsible for that. I think that's how that would have played out on the news networks over there.
But that's totally false.
Whether it's true or false, it
Yeah.
just spreads more hate to Trump. That's all I'm saying.
This all stemmed from, I wonder if Russians sit in Russia and complain about the American trolls sending disinformation as Bridget Phetasy and Joe were talking about Russian trolls. That's all I wonder.
Well, I see it, to your point there. I see Putin sitting there listening to Winds of Change like, you motherfuckers.
I think he'd be more motherfucker the podcast where he got exposed as a lonely guard of the wall.
Well, that was Winds of Change.
Yep, it was. Down by Gorky Park.
It's weird to think different subject. It's weird to think how much momentum was stopped by, you know what? I don't even want to do it. I don't care.
That was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, I don't.
That was record time.
I'm sorry.
Weirdest was he looked at me. What did I do there? Was that
No,
one?
no, it wasn't. It was gonna start a COVID talk, and do we really want to?
No.
No,
I don't think we do.
We don't want to. I don't think we want to.
Like, definitely stop momentum of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It did stop momentum with stuff of everything.
It's a true statement.
Not of everything, because some people have flourished during this. Like, not obviously not. The
Shells,
world
just
is
saying.
still
Shells.
falling apart.
Shells has flourished.
But lots of people. Somebody was telling me something about an industry, and I was like, "That's crazy." This industry that I don't even. It's what's stupid.
Was born of COVID? Like, was it really anything? And
It
then
was nothing. It would have like fallen apart before COVID, and now it's something that
PPE,
like
is it?
everybody needs now. I don't even know.
That was interesting. Do you know the blue PP masks are plastic?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? It's like a fiber, like a thin web. I thought they were cotton or something.
I thought so too.
Interesting.
So that's going to be a bad thing. The
Well, I'm
pollution
sure
of
the
those.
oceans are going to be great.
It's just
So another thing that bothers me about Joe. He says so. She talks about tunnels underneath Washington to connect the pedophile ring together. Whatever. Who knows what the fuck they're for? I don't know what they're for. And Joe's like, yeah, I don't believe in that. Like, that's what he says. He says, yeah, I don't believe in that. But fuck Island, that was a real thing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, obviously I'm thinking to myself, M.O.C.A. But I'm thinking to myself, like, you just said, yeah, but fuck Island is a thing. 2 years ago, or 4 years ago, whatever it was, We were talking about Fuck Island the same way we were talking about the tunnels under Washington, D.C.
He's late to the party, but I think it's just a visual thing.
No, but you see where I'm going, right? Like, it's not hard to get there.
No, and get these pictures and
He's too close-minded. It's crazy.
On the QAnon stuff, he's too close-minded, really.
Oh, again, it's like anytime you mention anything that fucking Q might say, it's the crop circles, man.
No,
he may
Simon.
be compromised.
I'm not gonna.
There are certain places he goes down, he just steers away. Whether he knows more than what he's letting on, I don't think he's close-minded though.
You don't think he's close-minded?
I don't.
Well, he doesn't believe in Bigfoot.
Oh, here we go.
Because he searched for Bigfoot. He's done way more research than you've ever done in your life.
It is
True.
so. It
It's
is
so true.
so hilarious.
He's done way more
how
research
he
than-
searched for Bigfoot. Like,
We don't even know what he's done. But
Hold on, wait a second.
He hunts a lot. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Kamar just brought up probably two of the best points that he could have ever brought up. This guy goes out and hunts regularly all over the United States. Okay? He's out in the wilderness all the fucking time. He was a believer like you. He wanted to believe so badly. He has gone out and spent his hard-earned money to do actual, whether you believe it or not, to do some monicum of research. You have done absolutely nothing.
I'm sure
he
he's
didn't spend his hard-earned money. That's bullshit.
He has spent way more money than you have on researching Bigfoot.
I agree. Just because you have an Instagram,
This is the same as they all hate Trump.
yeah.
Like
No, this is.
I don't have any proof, but I'm sure.
Hey, hold on a second. First of all, fine. You want Joe to have been more Bigfoot? I don't give a fuck. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I don't care. I really don't. But he didn't give it did you even ever watch that episode? I don't think you did.
Which
Did
episode?
You motherfucker.
What episode?
The Joe Rogan Questions Everything, where he goes and hunts Bigfoot.
I don't need to.
No, because why would you possibly need to see what we're talking about?
Because I'm in the camp that, there could be a Yeti, a Bigfoot, Anthropopithecus, whatever they're called.
Oh, he sounded so much like Tyson there. Yeah, go on.
Or there's not. But I don't care.
Okay, fine. Then say you don't care. That's fine. If Joe was like, there might be and there might not be, but I don't give a fuck about Bigfoot, that's fine. I'm willing to take that, but that's not what he says.
But I feel he's done way more research than you, so he forms that opinion.
The research he did was fucking bullshit.
You don't know that was the only research he's done, and it's edited down. So go fuck yourself on both counts.
Even if he did a whole goddamn TV show about it.
Which he did.
Even if he did a whole TV show about it.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't, he still had a closed mind the whole time. There was no part of that thing where he really was like, I really want to do this. Right from the start.
Really?
He found the people he brought on.
You're just mad about
Soured him.
You're just
They
mad about
soured
the
him.
cigarette thing.
People he brought on.
He's mad about the cigarette thing.
On that Bigfoot one were people to discredit the Bigfoot movement, not to build it up.
But what I'm saying
Not
to
to
you,
credit it.
Was it his job to build the Bigfoot thing up?
He had a job to be impartial.
Okay.
And I don't think he was impartial in this case. And ever since, he's now used that as like you, Joe is out there and he's done way more research than you on Bigfoot. Like,
Oh, don't laugh this one off. I'm sorry. Again, on his
I'm
hunting alone.
dude, that I will give you 1,000%. Does he have a better chance of seeing Bigfoot than Simon does? Of course.
But
He's
my
out there
question to
all
you
the
is,
time.
given that he's out there all the time,
Yes.
and that he wanted to believe at one time,
this is what Joe has gone from wanting to believe more than you probably, or the same as you, right?
probably more. Simon doesn't do acid. Simon doesn't do a lot of
I
mushrooms.
don't want to put words in Simon or Joe's mouth, but he's gone from there to I don't think so, but I would like it to exist. That's where he's at now.
I don't think Joe has ever given any sort of thought to maybe Bigfoot being an alien. I don't think Joe has given any thought to Bigfoot having like some sort of cloaking or being an interdimensional traveler. Like, all I'm saying, Matt, maybe those things are not right. Possibly. That could be the case. M.O.C.A. Like, I'm aware of this. Joe has done such limited research. This is what I'm saying. Him doing
want
a show,
papers. I want to throw them away. Everything you know is because of Joe Rogan. Everything you know is because of Joe Rogan.
The whole point.
Am I wrong?
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
I'm
actually,
sorry.
you know what?
I'm sorry.
Stop
Hold on.
this.
I'm
This
sorry.
is
Stop.
madness. I'm gonna throw this.
You know
book
how
against
Joe?
the fucking
You know how
door.
Joe had a show called Joe Rogan. What was the show
Questions
called?
Everything.
Questions Everything. Simon's show would be called "I Learned Everything from Joe Rogan."
Okay.
Like, what do we
Just
do
stop.
here?
Just stop. I love Joe Rogan.
All thoughts you have are based from something you heard on Joe Rogan.
They started as seeds
Yeah.
on Joe Rogan.
And somehow
birthplace.
the student has outgrown the teacher. Like,
Yes,
what are we
that's
doing
what
here?
he says. Yes.
Are you fucking insane?
I think you've out imagined.
Okay, dude, this is.
You have more of an open mind than Joe.
Okay.
But I think Joe's given Bigfoot a fair. Like, my thing is, you're upset with Joe.
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
I'm upset with Joe about Bigfoot. I'm upset with Joe about a lot of things that he just fucking closes his mind to. You know what, Kamar?
I'm sorry, Simon.
Fuck this. I don't need to explain myself to you. You're going to see in due time what goes on with Mr. Rogan.
Mostly obsessed Caucasian anger.
M.O.C.A. No, I think you're not giving him enough credit when you call him closed-minded.
I give Joe all the credit in the world, and listen, I'm a guy who does a goddamn stupid fucking podcast about the Joe Rogan show. Nobody wants him to be better more than me.
You're just disappointed.
I just it's hard. It's hard right now.
Well, the day's going to come. Joe looks at Instagram. I'm sorry if there's a Bigfoot. There is a Bigfoot. He's got his dick in my ass right now. Please, Simon, I'm sorry. That's
He
all we
snuck
go
up
for.
behind me with his cloak. I couldn't see
my
him.
God.
That's all we can hope
You know
for.
what, man? I feel sorry for you because you're getting stuck on Bigfoot.
No. You, my friend, are stuck on Bigfoot.
You brought up Bigfoot.
I don't
You're
even
mad at-
want to talk about Bigfoot. I have so many other things to talk about.
Interesting, isn't it?
Like,
He talked so long he forgot how it started.
I know.
Like, what, you
It's
guys
such
talk about Bigfoot?
circular logic. Yeah,
no,
it's
no,
so
no, no.
fucking weird.
you guys are so annoying. Listen. Okay, that's it. We're done. You know what? Take over, Kamar.
Fuck
Go
Joe
ahead.
is inability to believe in something. No, there was a point where you talked about cancel culture. I was like, here it comes. Because it was about accusations, things happening. And it was a moment that passed, and now we know that Brian is apparently suing the couple or whatever for this. So he's doing the right thing to stand up for himself. We believe that's legal action. And Joe is steering clear till whatever it becomes resolved in any way. But I believe all journalist integrity is gone now.
By Joe.
No, they were talking about journalism and journal vision or whatever. She coined a cool word.
Yeah.
But it's like half the stories you read are articles written about something they heard on Joe Rogan Experience. Like, I believe journalists have gotten lazier, and
I've read articles recently where it's like, where they hype out, they're like, people are saying, and then you're like, it's not people, it's someone's Twitter. You read someone's Twitter that could be a 12-year-old, it could be a 36-year-old.
So that was the biggest point they talked about. The journalism is like not what it used to be.
We could just back up for 1 second. I'm sorry. And then we'll get back to your journalism. I promise.
Oh my God. Bigfoot's right here. He was wearing his cloak the whole time.
You told me to take over, so I tried to take over.
Yeah.
No, he's got
I was-
Bigfoot's cock
I
is
was
still
being
swinging around here.
facetious. No,
I'm sorry.
It wasn't even about Bigfoot. That's my fucking point. Is you get me talking about a point. The point was that
Is he blaming me now?
Just
What?
listen.
He keeps saying we get him talking about something that he initiated talking
this
about.
is fucking heinous.
Listen.
Okay, go ahead.
My point was I was using Bigfoot as an example of where Joe failed. Then you guys got stuck on whether Joe knows more about Bigfoot than Simon. I don't care. That doesn't matter. The point is,
Oh, you care.
Kamar. He's closed-minded in those places where he should just be as open-minded as he is about anything else. Again, this started with the tunnels under Washington, D.C. He said, I don't believe in the tunnels. There's no way that's true. But fuck Island, that's a real thing.
Can I just stop you right there?
Again,
though?
we got off of Bigfoot, or we got on to Bigfoot just as a point, another point, as Joe categorically saying that can't be real.
Can I back Joe up for a second here? As a normal human being, if you told me there are powerful people in Washington, D.C. that rent or own or go to an island to do illicit things with children, with people, whatever. Versus, I believe that there is a pizza place that has tunnels going. Stop. Fine, forget the pizza place. I believe there are tunnels under Washington that they are using to transport children to what? Fuck on their lunch hour? Or are they doing this?
No. I always thought the
hold
tunnels
on.
were to like shoo the president away and.
Well, definitely for that. And then the same way you would bring in Marilyn Monroe or whoever you were trying to sneak in, or in, I don't know if this is true, but if it is in like maybe Bill Clinton, they're bringing in the young girls he likes or the young boys he likes or
hold
whatever.
on. We know that's not true because Trump is president and he would have already told us about the fuck tunnels. We know this to be a
Unless
fact.
he's using the fuck tunnels to bring
No.
his own fucking
He's draining
kids
the
in.
swamp. No. That's impossible.
Okay, you're not even willing to have a real conversation here. I'm done.
totally having a real conversation.
No, you're not, because okay, it doesn't matter.
I saw
fine,
a fun
it's fine.
fact, just to break this up, we'll get back to it.
Crop circles. That's all I'm gonna say.
The Pentagon apparently uses 1.7 billion rounds of ammunition every year.
Mm-hmm.
And Call of Duty goes through 1.7 billion rounds of ammunition in 17 hours.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd probably go through 1.7 billion rounds of ammunition in an hour.
But those tunnels got to be involved with the Pentagon.
Simon, can I ask you a question?
And Langley.
Can I ask you a question? Let's go back to crop circles real quick before we end this.
Sure.
How many crop circles pop up nowadays? Just out of curiosity.
I think quite a few still.
Do you?
Yes.
But you just think quite a few.
I mean, you want me to get on my phone and find out for you? I will.
Well, I mean, the problem is you never, ever get on your phone to prove everything. You always wait for someone else to do it, but...
I'm happy to do it for you. If
No,
you
we'll
like.
wait for the post, Joe.
But your point of contention with the crop circles is just because some hoaxes or stuff happens doesn't mean the whole thing is out of the realm of
Because again,
being unexplained, what have you.
if you were a CIA guy, let's just say...
Trying to make your druthers.
No, forget about even making your druthers.
Oh, okay. You've already made your druthers.
Making your druthers.
Okay.
I don't care. The whole point... Okay, crop circles are turning up. You are telling everybody that aliens don't exist. You can't have the crop circles out there. So you send out two old men to do a couple of crop circles, make up a story. You put it through the media, which you control. You send that story out there. Now, every time somebody sees a crop circle, they just say, oh, that's a fake because of the two old men. Dude, they've been using this same fucking thing.
I mean, yours is extra convenient as well. You just can't see it from our side.
They've been using the same play from the same book over and over again. And like, you'll agree with it on one hand, and then on the other, you're like, no, that's impossible. It's the same fucking thing.
But I think just Joe was like, I am a moon landing denier because of Joe, who is completely done a 180 on that, right? He thinks that they went to the moon now, whereas 7 years ago, he was like, fuck, no way, no chance. So he's changes and grown a lot. And obviously, just using the other guy as example, there are things Joe knows he doesn't talk about. He's not an open book. He's not putting himself out there. So maybe he does believe in Bigfoot or whatever. I don't know if he's compromised or what if his interest is, but like, we feel like we're family.
Maybe he's killed the Bigfoot and he just doesn't want to tell anybody.
Maybe he's got its head on his wall. But
He's eating the meat,
I just
the
think
cloaking meat.
we thought that Joe would tell you everything and be open about everything in an open book, but I don't think he is. I think he's way more calculated. That's why he thought the Lex Friedman episode was refreshing.
Because he
For
was
him-
already 3 hours drunk at that point.
I don't think he drank with Lex,
Okay,
but
okay.
he was more just himself than he is as a host of a podcast.
You guys are okay with him just dismissing things because they're things that you don't deem as important.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
not important.
yes, fine. I agree.
Well, it
with-
is if it's an alien.
Yes, that's true. But I'll agree. To Matt, it's not important. Maybe to Joe, it's not important. But that doesn't mean it's not true. Do you see the difference?
It's real to me.
Okay, I'm done with you guys. You know what? Let's rate this shit and let's move. Let's get the fuck out of here.
No, I bet you. I bet you now, just in my thought experiment, that Joe probably believes more in Bigfoot than you think, but just
Well,
has now said.
I hope that's the case. But then why go so hard against it? It's like, misinformation. I don't know.
The lady doth protest
Yeah.
too much.
At 2:48, at 2 times, you couldn't hear it at normal, but you started hearing Jamie. Did you listen to 2 times, Matt?
Yeah.
You started hearing Jamie in the background
I thought I was having a stroke or losing my
talking
mind.
to somebody else. So who is he talking to during the podcast? I thought he was right there in the room.
Maybe he's not.
Maybe he has a full-on producer booth now.
Or maybe he can talk to somebody through his...
Actually, no, he must be in a booth now.
I could see him in a
'Cause they have
room
no
behind a
They have no
glass.
headphones anymore.
They do. Sometimes.
Well, sometimes, but that's my point. Is I'm pretty okay. Either way,
Lex
sorry.
and him, no headphones. Lex's podcast, no. Lex and him on his podcast, they had headphones. When Lex interviewed Joe, no headphones. So, I mean, it's small in the sound. I can't wait to have 4 people in there. It's going to be ridiculous. But I think, you know how the radio studio is?
Yeah,
They're there, and there's a glass and
Yeah.
a producer behind that. I think that's what they are.
that's what I was saying. Yeah, he's in a producer booth.
That
yeah.
would make sense. And
But
I couldn't...
who he was talking to, I don't
couldn't
know.
hear exactly what they were saying, but that's like if, somebody could probably take that tape,
Oh, there's a hot
take out
mic.
the thing and find out what Jamie was saying. It could have been like aliens,
Or he threw that in to make it seem like we don't edit out stuff that we don't want heard.
maybe.
And it's just raw.
It's all psyop.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Can I, the last thing we'll talk about before we leave, maybe we'll be able to agree on something before we're done this podcast. Ghislaine Maxwell.
You see how he comes at me there? It's not like it started with
No,
you guys.
No, he
Whatever.
feels attacked by both of us. He won't even look me in the eyes.
I don't feel...
Ghislaine, go on.
Ghislaine, who?
Maxwell.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, exactly
point?
what
What?
we said was going to happen happened.
Swept under the rug, news cycle,
The exact same
Forest
thing that happened
fires.
to Epstein. Like,
George Floyd. There's too much news cycle. And I mean, this, when they talked about Maxwell, is when she started talking about how journalism is just a fucking joke now. And if there was a real journalist, there'd be some, like she said, thank God for those Florida reporters or whatever. Like, you have to dig the Woodward, even Woodward getting Trump on tape saying coronavirus was worse than I said it was or whatever. That's journalism. That is so rare and far and few between. And we have, I guess, America to thank for that because Julian Assange was like the last bastion of just the facts release. You do with it what it is. No slant.
do you think, can I ask you a question? Do you think that was it Trump's, who wrote the book about him? The woman who wrote the book about
Manny,
him.
his sister and his aunt, I think.
Do you look at that as journalism?
No.
You look
that's
that
a
as-
cash grab.
Well, hold on.
Do you
Journalism.
look at that as journalism?
Well, no, because she grew up around. Like, listen, journalism to me is like you have to go and dig around. You
The
have to
beat. Gotta be on the beat.
Yeah, you got to find stuff. It's
Sources.
not like true journalism takes a long time. A, to develop the skills of how to do it properly, but B, like
The person who wants to get the scoop.
to develop a story and to get the right. Like again, you're forgetting too that you have to, you have to follow a certain protocol. You can't quote someone unless
Frontline.
Frontline is incredible.
That's journalism. 60 Minutes.
Frontline is still incredible.
was still good, but
And you would agree with that.
I agree. I love Frontline.
Yeah, Frontline to me is still incredible.
That's like a standard.
I'd be very disappointed if I was listening to Frontline one day and they just like
Bigfoot.
Glossed over
definitely,
facts.
definitely not real.
100%.
Definitive facts.
That would really put a kink in my sails.
Okay, let's. Can we rate Phetasy then?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Because I feel like we A, never gave her dues, but B, whatever.
Well, you guys got stuck on Bigfoot. What can I tell you?
You are just such a rife piece of shit. It's unreal.
No, they just had the same conversation about everything that's going on and the red pill this and left are going right and right is going left. And
I still didn't mind this podcast. I will start. I'll give it a 3.5. It wasn't terrible.
I give it a 2.5.
And I will also give it a 2.5.
Fair enough.
I wanted to be funnier.
I think it's because it was a short week. I like these short weeks. So
I
to
think it's
end
the
it
new
off,
normal.
I was.
I might have to take back what I said last week. I don't know which one of you two said maybe this is the new norm, but maybe this is the new norm.
I think it's the new norm.
And again, I would love that. And I would love if we knew exactly which day they were coming out on.
First of all, I don't think this is the new norm.
Tuesday,
It's
Wednesday,
COVID.
Thursday.
I think it's it's a weird time. I think if COVID was not in like almost full swing again, there would be guests in studio a lot. Like One of them was a Skype interview. I think where you're going to see a ton of Skype interviews coming up.
That's
A
possible.
ton.
We'll see moving down the road, but I think Joe would be more powerful if you did like 2 a week.
I was thinking about how brilliant Joe is when I was thinking about how
Closed-minded Joe?
Well, I love Joe. It bugs me when he gets closed-minded about certain things. But just how brilliant he was in he had this thing that was working, starts putting out, I don't know if it was like this from the start. I can't remember.
It's dumb luck.
No,
We are bigger than Joe Rogan was
Stop.
at 100 episodes.
Just hold on. He released 4 episodes a week, right? Sometimes 5 even. Was he doing that right from the beginning, or did it start?
No, the beginning was maybe once.
There's no rhyme or reason.
So as he got more popular, it would seem, he started making more shows. Part of the reason why I think Joe, that helps. But part of the reason I also think Joe is so successful in this is that he didn't make us wait a week for him.
Oh, to go find some other podcast. Yeah.
Every day or every second day, it was a new person. It was that was the beauty of the Joe Rogan show. It still kind of is that it's almost like it's a new podcast every time because the guy coming on is so,
Well, you can't have a good conversation in 1 hour. So, I mean, if they were all hour conversation, you did 3 or 4, that make more sense. I just feel like each one would be a little more special if there was less. 4 or 5 in a week is too many, but I understand that may be logistics of getting the people in there. But I found sometimes it's too much to listen to.
But yeah, and we know that he doesn't care about sitting on him for a little bit. So
yeah, I think it's the new norm.
But no, I do. We'll I agree. I think 3 is the right amount. It lets you digest what you've heard.
And I like he pulled the brakes back. He got 2 girls on this week, some diversity.
2 girls who weren't bashing trans people. That helps too.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that is it. That's the show. Thank you so much for sticking around. If you made it this far, congratulations. You're a goddamn mensch. We do have an email. If you want to email us, contact us. It's jreepodcast@gmail.com. You know what? I got to get rid of this one. Who cares? Don't email us. We use that for business only. You can contact us.
Don't email us.
Well, no, there's 6 other ways to contact us realistically. Why not just keep it to those? Why not remove one? Forget the email. No one needs to contact us. We do have
unless you want to give us lots of money.
No, don't give us money. We have
just do that through the Patreon.
We have a Twitter and an Instagram. They're both at JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram
at Kamar Bar for the news and the weather.
You can also follow him on Twitter at Kamar Bar. Same thing. You can follow.
No, I'm done again, man.
Yes.
Okay.
Pull the
getting off. I'm gonna try and go flip phone.
Shab got off everything. You can get off everything.
I have an iPhone and I just don't have those apps. You realize that's an op.
Well, I did that with TikTok, and listen, I really like TikTok.
I still like TikTok.
TikTok, yeah, a little Freudian slip there. I love TikTok.
I commented on this chick's TikTok that she had a crazy moose knuckle. She's like, oh, I didn't even notice that. I thought she was gonna be bummed.
Moose knuckle's the guy thing, you know that, right?
Should have camel toe, whatever I said. Yeah. What?
Simon's so disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
Stop. Let me finish these plugs.
Sorry.
There's a Reddit. It's reddit.com/JREE podcast.
Join the conversation.
I think it's /r/JREE podcast, but either way, who gives a shit? If you want to join the conversation, Kamar's on there. Some other people are on there. It's fun stuff. The YouTube, of course, great place to watch this. If you're listening, you can watch us on YouTube. It's youtube.com/JREE podcast. The shows go up as the normal ones do.
And if people bring the smoke on the YouTube, you're bringing the smoke back.
Oh, that was just a troll, dude. I don't actually think you're a fucking Nazi, but why you saw that?
No,
like that?
I was like, whoa. I like anything like that. I'd be like, join the Patreon. Thank you.
No, dude, you got to realize I started off with, oh, thanks, Helga. That stuff, I just want to troll people back. Like, if you're going to take time out of your day to call me a piece of shit,
yeah,
I'm going to troll back a little bit. I don't really care.
I'd have to be there for the context. That's even cooler.
Yeah, I just don't. Like, I was never, trust me, I typed that with a big smile, and I saw the response, and I was like, well, I didn't expect them to respond to this. I thought we would just move on with our days. I give everyone one response, and that's usually it.
But unless join the YouTube immediately.
There you go. Join the YouTube. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 510. We're not even
512.
Close. 512, sorry. And then the Patreon. Join the Patreon. There's some fun stuff coming. We have 2 new segments that are coming in November. The first is, of course, Simon's Conspiracy Corner, name in the works, where Simon will once a month sit down here.
QAnon.
And he'll kind of go over whatever conspiracies you guys want him to touch on. Sometimes he might do something that interests him, but we have a bunch of good ones on the Patreon.
A lot of feedback on that.
And that's it. If you're on the Patreon, you get to give your feedback, which is the most important. And the higher tier you are, the more likely we are, of course, to choose your stuff. The second one we're doing is Kamar's advice column.
Not so much feedback.
Corner. I like everybody having a corner.
Give us our own
We should
corner.
film them all in different corners in here.
Just standing facing the corner.
Yeah. If you have any life advice that you want to ask Kamar, it can be anything, as stupid or real as you
It's
want it
gone
to.
pretty stupid so far. So
Yeah, no one's asked anything.
Kamar,
great.
I have something I want to ask you.
Well, not now. Save it for the column, please. Write
What
it down.
do I do when my friends don't understand me?
just know that you're better than them.
Done.
Live your life.
Kamar's
Done
already
deal.
like, look, Simon's already like, this advice column is incredible.
Done.
Case
Yeah.
closed. That's how
Case
easy it is.
Ta-da! You can find all of that and more at patreon.com/JREE podcast. You can join for as little as $5 a month. You will get the post show on Tuesday with the normal episode, as well as 3 or 4 episodes of This Won't Age Well a month.
And I will mispronounce your name.
Yes. That's it. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching. If you did both,
That's
wow.
on the post, Joe, actually, so everybody gets it.
No, it's only if you join the Patreon does he mispronounce your name.
Oh, otherwise you're going to get their name right?
No, if you don't join the Patreon, he doesn't say anyone's name.
Got you. Yes, understood. Yes, that is correct. Everybody hears it, but they don't say your name.
We're all on the same
Kamar
page?
doesn't say his name. Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Kamar's not even responding anymore.
Doesn't matter.
He's so bummed with your
I'm not bummed.
antics today.
I love
Not
Simon.
bummed, yeah.
You guys must know I love Simon, okay?
Yeah, we love each
I'm
other.
never bummed on them.
Hold on, we wouldn't do this show together if we couldn't stand each other. Like,
And I think I appreciate the word antics.
who did I say that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go fuck yourself. You and your antics.
There he goes.
We'll pick this up in the post, Joe.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for the post show. Have a great weekend. And as usual,
Keep
keep your eyes open.
Exactly.